3, 2, 1.
All right. Hello. We are live. We have a late arrival on the way. It's not just me and Jacob. Christian is on his way. But we're here for the Champions League Elite first ever game for an Australian team, Jacob, in the Champions League Elite new format.
Yeah. I mean, it's new format. Same old name with a bit added to it. But no, it's exciting. It's the dawn of a new era, I suppose. So let's hope the Mariners start it off on the right foot.
It is. Well, I say, while we're waiting for Christian, why don't we take a look at a really great explainer as to how this new Champions League Elite format works. How about that?
Why don't we? Sounds good.
This is how the new AFC Champions League Elite and Champions League 2 tournaments actually work. In the Champions League Elite, 24 teams are split like we are used to into the East and the West. Each team will play 8 games, 4 home, 4 away, all against different opponents. At the end of those 8 games, the bottom 4 sides from each region are out. The top 8 into the knockouts. For the round of 16, we stay in our regions for a 2-legged home and away tie, seeded based off a team's position in the league phase. The winners of each tie through to the quarterfinals. This is where things shake up even more. The quarterfinals onwards are no longer home and away ties. To try and encourage more East v West competition, the final 8 teams will travel to a centralised location for the rest of the tournament. Initially, these finals will be held in Saudi Arabia, single elimination knockout to decide the champions of Asia. The new Champions League 2 is much similar to what we know from a traditional Champions League competition. The East and the West divide holds all the way until the final. 32 teams are split into 8 groups of 4. Clubs play each team home and away in their group for a total of 6 games. Top 2 progress, bottom 2 are out. From there, it's traditional home and away 2-legged ties all the way through the knockouts until we have a Western and an Eastern champion who will play each other in a one-off final to lift the Champions League 2 trophy. So, there you go. Little explainer there on how the new Champions League Elite format works. Yep. We've nailed it. Christian has come in during the video.
The predictions game.
Hello, Christian. Welcome. We can't hear you, mate.
No.
Something on with your microphone. Whatever you had before, don't change it. I muted you before. So just come back to whatever you were on. But anyway, yes, we're starting the new league phase tonight, of course, Jacob. So, Christian, hello. Still nothing. All right, well, we'll leave Christian to sort out his issues. Yes, new league phase. So there's 12 teams in the eastern side of the league. We're up against one of them tonight, of course, in Shandong. We play 4 home, 4 away, no more groups. It's a bit of an interesting format, but I think it's good because out of all the 12 best teams in the east of Asia, we get to play 8 of them. So we get to, the Mariners get to test themselves against the best in the continent.
Yeah, but a bit of a sort of change in song from you there, Lockie, because when it was announced to you, you were staunchly against the new format and how...
I don't think that was true. That's true at all.
Well, you were going on about how silly it is and how you completely skip a country and all that stuff. So
Okay. So I understand where the confusion is there. So it is silly the way the draw works because they're still... On the east side, there's 3 Chinese teams, there's 3 South Korean teams, and there's 3 Japanese teams. But when they do the draw, they're keeping the country protection, so you can't get drawn against someone from your own nation. So because there's so few nations in the 12-team pool, it means that who did the Mariners draw? They drew South Korea. They drew South Korea as the country that they just don't get to play entirely. They play all 3 Chinese teams, all 3 Japanese teams, but none of the South Korean teams. So that's where, for me, it's a little bit frustrating, as I'm sure Christian will come back in shortly, but that's my complaint with it. The fact that we actually get to go around and play 8 different teams, I'm actually a big fan of.
Yeah. I mean, I can agree with that. I mean, it was going to be a tough one either way of any of those leagues to miss. You still get the other 2. So it's, it's still a tough one anyway. And And I mean, the thing is though with these ones where these sorts of tournaments, you've got to beat the best to be the best, right? You know, you can't. It's the ACL Elite now. It's not the AFC Cup like it was for the Mariners last year, where they were perhaps playing some lower ranked opposition that you sort of expect them to beat. This is going to be, you know, a real sort of test and a chance to judge where they're at in terms of their squad, in terms of the football that they play, because it's still pre-season. Whereas I think the South Korean League is currently underway. I don't know about Japan and China if
Japan and China are just wrapping up.
they're just wrapping up, so they're coming to the end of their season. So it's going to be
Korea should be wrapping up as well, actually. I think.
Yeah, I think they finish in November, December, maybe.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Christian, we can hear you. Hello.
Hello. Yeah, not sure what happened there. Had to do the good old log off, log on again.
Well, it worked.
But no, all good. No, it worked finally. But yeah, what have you guys been talking about?
The structure of the new competition. You know, the whole league phase, working through 8 different teams. As we see, the teams are walking out. Interestingly, the kit enthusiasts will have noticed already, Central Coast Mariners without a shirt sponsor for the first game.
It's interesting.
I did talk about this in the group chat earlier today, because obviously the way that these sponsorships work is that, you know, you want to bring a sponsor in that's going to be relevant to the target audience watching your game. So, you know, the PFA, the Players Association, have been ones that have said in the past that Australian clubs have found it very difficult to find front of shirt sponsors, potentially when the draw is so close to the start of the Champions League. And it appears that the Mariners have not been given enough runway, so they're losing a little bit of dollars here, a bit of value.
It's it sucks, especially when, I mean, we keep going on about the financial position that the league is in at the moment, and you know, every little counts when it comes to money for these clubs. So yeah, probably missing out on a lot as well, considering that it's continental competition. You'd expect a larger audience as well. So
They could have had Round Ball Australia as their sponsor at the top. Why not?
We would have given it to them for free, absolutely.
yeah.
100% get some exposure in Asia. Why not?
Well, talking about exposure in Asia, so everyone's seen the new Brisbane Roar signing. His 21-year-old Indonesian bloke, apparently the new best thing in Indonesian football. He skyrocketed the Brisbane Roar's Instagram following from like 60,000 to 100,000 followers overnight.
In 24 hours.
24 hours.
Wow.
That quick. And they are not the only people to benefit from some Indonesian exposure, because we did a live stream of the Australia-Indonesia game. And I can tell you, since that live stream ended, and it stays up on there on YouTube and people can watch it after the fact, we've got an extra 3,000 views or so in that video, and the audience is like 80% from Indonesia.
Hopefully we weren't too biased for Australia. And they
So all of our Indonesian friends that are now, you know, watching and subscribing and commenting on the YouTube, it's great to have you. But yes, obviously football mad fans in Indonesia.
They love the sport, so, you know.
They love the sport.
well, population of 260 odd million. I mean, it's a bit of a sleeping giant. They have been in the past, since forever. Really, they haven't really established themselves as of yet. But they've got this new sort of golden generation coming through, and hopefully they don't cause us too many problems when they face Australia when we play at home. But no, it's definitely not going to be a walkover, as we learnt over there. That's for sure.
Let's avoid talking about the Socceroos tonight, shall we?
Yeah. Well, I wonder how long that's going to last.
Jacob, have you got the lineup in front of you for the Mariners?
Oh, I can do in a second.
You bring it up. I'll give you some of the highlights. Obviously, Trent Sainsbury plays his first game as captain, of course, in the Mariners for about a decade, I think it is. It's not quite a full-strength 11. It's a little bit varied. I really should have brought up the lineup myself before starting to talk about it. Brian Kaltak is in there at the back. They are starting one of their new signings in Gore, who they picked up from Heidelberg in the NPL. Adam Pavlicic is in goals. Here we go. It's on my screen for me. Lovely. Alu McQuall is up top. Mikel Docker. So a couple of familiar faces, but also, some new guys. You got Edmondson up top as well. So they're running two, which will be interesting to see. McCalmont is a very fresh face playing in central midfield. So there's a lot to learn about this Mariners team, Jacob.
For sure. It's very interesting to see them going with a two up top formation, because last season it was pretty consistently just having the lone nine, whether that be Edmondson or Quoll or whoever else they put up there. So, clearly the idea of just seeing who's got the most in them, basically head to head, right? Giving them both a chance to contribute in this match. It does obviously take a bit away from the midfield, but with the departure of Nisbet, and not necessarily having an immediately ready replacement, it does make sense to potentially go, right, well, we don't have an out-and-out number 10, but we do have two strikers who can play up front together, and going with that. We know that Edmondson can drop a little bit deeper anyway, and be involved in build-up, so that's probably the thinking there, is that Quoll will lead the line and Edmondson will drop a bit deeper. Mikhail Docker's out on the left tonight as well, supposedly, according to the one I'm looking at. So that'll be interesting if that's the case, because we saw him pretty consistently last season used on the right, whether it was as a winger or as a fullback, most of the time as a winger. And we know that he likes to get forward. He's always a goal scoring threat as well, so that should be good. But I'm really interested to see how Trent Sainsbury goes. I wrote about him a little while ago for Roundball Australia website, in the reasonable recruitment. And
It's 3 at the back.
It is 3 at the back.
So it looks like Mirages is dropping back. Sainsbury's going out right.
Yeah.
And Calduck in the middle.
There's everybody's taken notes from Carl Viet so far. So the Mariners here are the back 3. The Socceroos had a back 3 as well.
Father of the 3 back, Carl Viet.
It's a scary thought.
It'll be interesting to see how Central Coast approach the first 10 to 15 minutes. Do they take the attacking initiative, or do they try and sit back a bit, absorb pressure?
Yeah.
Because, Champions League Elite, it's a whole different competition compared to what they were facing last year in the AFC Cup. But that's not to take away from the experience, because they still take a lot away from that. And I believe Edmondson, how many goals did he score last season in that competition? It was a few, wasn't it?
He scored a few, yeah.
I'm pretty sure he scored a hat-trick in one game, from
Yeah.
memory.
Well, because he only came in halfway through, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Came in late.
The funny story there is that, who was it? Tulio left after the group stage but won the Golden Boot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So even Edmondson, I think, Jacob, you touched on it a bit. He'll be, I think, critical. He can, obviously sit a bit deeper, hold up the ball, and even drop back deeper, like you were saying, Jacob, to, get plays into the game. Just be that hold-up figure up top, because it could be a game where, Shandong get a few opportunities early, and they've got to, like I said, absorb that pressure defensively for a bit. And playing away from home, it's especially the first game of a group stage.
Oh, go!
Oh, here we go.
Oh.
That's a really good chance. Oh, in Gore already. So the lineup that we're seeing on FootMob and those stats is completely incorrect. Docker looks like he's playing in that kind of right side 8 position. And Gore's not a right back. He's up top as well. Interesting. Okay, so look, new setup for the Mariners, and this is probably a good time to talk about the mindset going into these games as well, because we're in this league phase. You play 8 games. You're playing 8 of the possible 11 opponents, and you need to be in the top 8 of 12 to progress to the next round. So perhaps 2-3 wins. I think maybe in the 8 points, 8 to 9 points is probably what you want.
Was Sainsbury's shirt not tugged?
Yeah,
that's what I thought.
A big tug there.
Lockie, it's hard to say in terms of an exact points total for them to go through, because it's not like a group stage where you've got 4 teams and you can do the maths that way. You've got to, depend on other results, especially deep into that group phase, or whatever you want to call it.
On up again. What we need is to get on Football Manager and run the sim a couple of times and figure out what the number is.
Does the last match day get played simultaneously? I know Champions League it does on the final day. So. That'd be sick. Yeah.
I think it's all the team. Well, all the East and all the West probably have a different time slot, but yeah. 6 games.
Here's my suggestion for the Mariners to make things easy for themselves, though. Just win every game.
Win every game is great.
Then you don't have to rely on anyone else,
These games away from home against these, don't forget, Shandong here, Chinese team, is fighting for the CSL title with Kevin Muscat's Shanghai at the moment. So a point here in a phase where you probably only need 8 to 10 points to progress is golden. Monique says hello. Monique, we haven't seen you in a little while. We haven't done a lot of these streams. Obviously, there's been a lack of football on, but it's great to have you back in for another Mariners live stream in Asia.
Shandong, though, they've only won 10 games this season out of 25 in the league. So 37 points, that's pretty low. No?
Hold on. You sure?
Am I looking at the wrong Shandong?
I think you might be.
Where are they on the table? 5th?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Ah. Got my
They're
stats
5th,
right.
37 points. Yeah, apology. Where's the apology, Lockie?
Shame on me. I do have to see it before I believe it.
Who did
Who
you think it was? Who were you?
Top? Oh, it's Shanghai. Okay, yeah, 5th place. My bad. So they're up there. They're up there.
Yeah.
They're not right at the top though. Shanghai will have to come later. The 2 Shanghai teams.
They are running away with it.
Yeah.
12-point gap between second and third is insane.
There you go. Okay, so not quite the opposition I thought it was. There you go.
This is a team, I remember Shandong came to Adelaide back the last time Adelaide were in it, and it was I'm fairly certain it was a pretty insane game. I think it finished 4-3 to Shandong or something. Just goals left, right and centre. So hopefully it's as exciting as that one.
They're still in another cup competition, so the Chinese FA Cup, they're in the semi-final, so they could potentially face Kevin Muscat Shanghai Port in the final if both teams win.
Monique says, coming to you from the UK. That's definitely a shift of atmosphere from CrossFit. Interesting. I think this game is a really important one for the Mariners because they went out early in the Australia Cup, so they haven't had competitive fixtures. And obviously there's a lot of question marks with the turnover of their squad. So, you know, a win away against a solid Asian opposition in the best competition in Asia will go a long way to settling some of those nerves as to answering those questions.
I like the scoreboard, by the way. Nice purple. I like it.
Yeah.
Bit different.
It's good, isn't it?
I like the purple colour scheme.
Yeah. Can't say I'm a fan of the weird gradient type thing behind the names, though.
Yeah. We need the Premier League themes. You know how when someone scores, they've got the
really
different...
Cool.
Yeah.
Did you see the one in the North London Derby?
Yeah, that's so good.
Yeah.
So good. The cannon wheels out and shoots the chicken.
The best thing to come from that game, to be honest.
What about 3 points, Jacob?
Oh, yeah, no, we'd take that, but it was not a good watch.
Lucky Jacob's a pessimist. He doesn't care about wins and 3 points. He cares about the negatives.
Absolutely.
Always looking at the negatives.
A couple of chances already for Ngor.
Do they have a couple of foreigners, Shandong, in their
I think they
lineup?
have a Brazilian or two, yeah. I had a brief look.
Yeah, they got Marcel at the back. I believe a Brazilian. And they've got, let's look at the bench, Pedro Delgado and Krizan as well. 3 foreigners. So when they came to Adelaide, they had, I think, about 4 or 5 Brazilians in their team at the time.
Really?
It was pretty mental. There were more foreign players than there were Chinese players.
Because when was that? What year?
Oh, this was, when did we last do well?
Oh, it's a goal.
That's a goal.
It's 1-0.
Wow.
That's a great ball in, to be fair. Shandong 1-0 over the Mariners. The Mariners have had the jump on this game as well. That's really unfortunate.
Yeah. Is that
Sucker
a bit
punch.
perhaps on Pavlicic? He didn't quite caught in between. Didn't really come for the ball, didn't stay back.
Potentially.
But it could have been even a lost marking assignment. Let's have a look at this replay. You got man on man.
Over the head of Sainsbury.
Honestly.
Can you blame Caltech?
Yeah. He just let his runner through.
Goal side, though. That's pretty poor.
Yeah. I think it was a mix of communication as well there, because Sainsbury was probably unaware that player was making that run there.
I think it was the right ball for Pavlicic to come out for. I think he was just a tad too slow in his reaction. He maybe took a split second too long to react and make the decision.
Either. Like he
No.
went to smother like the low ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like he thought it was going to go all the way through rather than...
That's a wicked ball in, though.
That's very good.
See, that's the danger when, you attack early in those first 5 to 10 minute period where you get done on the sucker punch. And if you're not careful.
And that's one of those ones as well. That's just that sort of a ball where you're putting it in a dangerous area because it could take a touch of a defender and go in. It can obviously get to the head of your attacker and go in. If the keeper doesn't quite get a hand on it, it could fall to another player. Like it's such a dangerous area, and it was well weighted as well. It wasn't overhit. Like that's a really dangerous one, and it's tough to deal with.
They're professional footballers, like you said, Jacob. Why can't they whip in a good ball?
Yeah, exactly.
But finally, we've seen one.
We have
space. That was a really simple ball. So they're really overloading that side.
Mm-hmm.
Even when the ball went all the way back to Pavlicic there, and the centre backs got split, Docker was still staying high up the right.
Yeah, it looks like he's coming inside and, like you said, playing in that half space a lot. So it's almost sort of... There's always two up front, but the combination of who it is depends on where Docker is in the play. Mm-hmm. If he's a bit higher up, it's him and Quoll that are leading the line. If he drops in a bit, we see Edmondson move up. So there's a bit of rotation there. And then Gore as well as the other player.
Yeah, and of course we're getting our first look at Vita Feijão as well.
Mm-hmm.
Another new Brazilian winger for the Mariners.
Yeah, another one. I mean, they've had success, so they're just going to keep going to that same well and hoping that it continues,
Does the job.
You can't blame them.
I mean, let's keep in mind, though, Mariners haven't played a game since, 3-4 weeks ago, that friendly against Auckland FC, so it's not easy, coming away from home.
More recently than that?
There might have been one. I just don't have the result up here. The only recent one is Auckland FC, 21st of August, when they drew 2-2. I assume they must have surely played a friendly, even behind closed doors.
Oh, they definitely... No, because they would have, because I saw a photo with Douglas Costa. They got all the Brazilians together.
Oh, okay.
Friendly.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, okay. Yeah, because Shandong haven't been all that special.
It's just one moment. That's it.
Yeah.
They haven't had much of the ball, have they? And
no.
their goalkeeper is already in terms of his distribution has scuffed a few, and they've gone out for throw-ins. But that's all it takes, right? Is one moment, and
that's a soft free kick.
It's a bit soft, but it was also a bit silly from Victor Feijão there to stay in that challenge, knowing full well all he's going to do is collect the player.
I like the early presso from the Mariners.
It's encouraging early.
Yeah.
Well, you'd hope they have this sort of energy, right? Because as I was saying before the game kicked off, they are in pre-season. They don't have, the fixture congestion or anything to complain about. Like they should be pretty fit and ready. Okay, there might be a bit. Their game plan might not be in full effect yet and that sort of stuff. But
might not be in full cohesion considering the amount of... I wouldn't say it's a completely new squad, but there's quite a few players, obviously, that have, made the starting 11. So that's going to obviously take a bit of time to get used to. You can press as much as you want, but, if you don't do it as a team and do it as a collective, on the same page, then it's a different story.
Well,
might as well
let's have a
forget
look
about
at the team then, shall we? So, Edmondson, Quoll, Bradley Tapp, Mikhail Docker, Brian Kaltak.
Yeah.
They're the players that were, I know Pavlicic was there, but he wasn't playing, obviously. So you got Pavlicic in goals, Trent Sagebruy, Maharjas, Ngor, McCalmont, and Feijão. That's a lot of new players to be bringing into a new team.
It's a difficult spot to be in for the Mariners because... Look, we said it last season as well, but the players that they've lost aren't just sort of filler players or, squad rotation options. It's, some key pieces for them. So how they go about not replacing them, but going about life without them is going to be interesting. And I mean, they've brought in a bunch of different players, but I don't think anybody there is, a direct replacement for someone like a Josh Nisbet, right? They're going to have to think differently about the way that they set up and play without him, because you can't get a 1-for-1 like replacement for him. There is some players where that's the case. Saw with City last year when they lost Hamza Saki, right? How much they sort of struggled in build up because of that. It's probably going to be the case for Mariners in that they might struggle a little bit in that final third without the creativity of Nisbet. But I think that they do have they've obviously got some quality. It's just in different areas of the pitch. So they're going to have to change perhaps the way that they approach the attacking phases of play.
And that's the mark of a good coach, right? It's the ability to not only adapt in game to different scenarios, but over the course of multiple seasons.
Yeah.
And figure out how to get the best out of the group that you have.
For sure.
It's something that I'm very much looking forward to seeing how Giancarlo Italiano interprets his new squad as well.
You mean the future Socceroos manager? Is that who you're referring to?
I reckon. Could be.
That would be good, wouldn't
it? This loss would pain you, Lockie, if this ends up in defeat for the Mariners in terms of the coefficient, the classic coefficients.
Okay.
I've
taken 15 minutes.
I've apologized. It's you were right. I apologize. I found out from my source that if you weren't listening to the podcast today, that we had this 15-minute discussion about the coefficients and how they work. Won't go into it too much, but I apologize, lads. I was completely in the wrong.
So to catch everyone up and just to drive it home a little bit more, last night when we were recording, this morning's podcast, we were talking about the coefficient because China currently sits above Australia in the competition rankings, and then I was talking about maybe if like the Mariners in Sydney have a good year, then Australia could get up above China or something like that. And then Christian went on some rants about how it's like Europe and, it only updates every 5 years and, it takes a while for it to come in. And we ended up having to cut like 10 minutes out of the podcast because we were just arguing about how the coefficient.
I swear that's how it used to work. At least 10 years ago. I'm still sticking by that stance. I'm still sticking by that stance, but for now, I admit that I was in the wrong.
All right. Anyway, the coefficient now is very important because obviously these new competitions, there's a lot of money getting put into them. So we want as many A-League teams in there as possible to try and earn the money, to try and win these tournaments. But in order to do so, we need to have consistent results over, the current coefficient uses a rolling 8-year period.
Yeah.
And those later competitions are weighted less, but it's a long time, so you have to do consistently well. And look, we're in a good position this year. We have the Mariners, who we believe have a very good coach and smart recruitment. Hopefully, they can at least get out of the league here. And we have Sydney, who have a very good squad and should be very competitive in the Champions League too. And you need to remember as well that all these points that the different teams collate, they get averaged over the teams in that country.
Yeah.
So China have 4 competitors, and so it's very unlikely that all 4 of those teams are going to do well this year. So hopefully that drags their average down. We need Thailand to not do so great either, but obviously the advantage is that we get to play Chinese and Thai teams in the league phase. So it's another reason why the Mariners need to win this game. So they need to get their shooting boots on.
Do you know how the points work in terms of if you win? Is it like point something? You don't know the specifics?
I haven't researched this one. I knew the old Champions League and AFC Cup. You get a lot more points for that Champions League Elite than you do the AFC Cup or the Champions League 2. But you get points for wins in the league phase, and then when you get into the knockouts, you get points for a win. Plus, you get a little bit of bonus points as well because it's the
which isn't how it works in Europe. I think it's the exact same points: Europa, Champions League, and Conference League, which is weird.
I'm gonna disagree with you again.
No. I think it is. I can't be wrong twice in a row.
Has the predictions game not just proven exactly the opposite?
Okay,
because I was following it closely last season. Maybe not in previous years, but last season, everyone was, they got the same points for each competition.
You might be right that the points for winning a match
I'm talking about winning the match.
Winning the match in the Europa League and the Champions League, Europe, might be the same, but then the difference comes in the bonus points. Like you get a lot more bonus points for progression in the higher league in the Champions League.
Oh yeah, but I'm just talking about like 3 points, for example, if you win that specific game.
Yeah, okay. You may be right there. I won't go so hard in today.
I wouldn't agree
Leave
with
it for the
myself
next
either.
episode of the pod.
I have some transfer news announced as well, guys, by the way.
Ooh.
For the second half, we will bring in
Oh, we've got to wait.
Will Booth for the second half of this match tonight.
There's the transfer news.
Yeah.
I mean, if the Mariners are down 3-0 at halftime, I don't think he'll be joining. That's for sure.
We just won't tell him because he's been at training, so he might.
Yeah, we'll pretend like they're doing really well, and and then he'll come out and see the score for himself.
Yeah, God.
Trent Sainsbury going for a little wander. Bit of a wasted ball over the top.
His goalkeeper looks shaky on the ball. Those past few couple of clearances.
Oh, that was a great turn. Number 23.
Sloppy.
Go and go.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, good run.
Got some good
Got to
tackle.
get it out of your feet though. Yeah, too long.
I think I might be a couple of seconds ahead of you. I think. Oh, what do you... Oh.
Taishan just holding on.
Take a
to it
shot?
A little bit too long.
Oh,
Oh,
that's a decent
yeah,
effort.
not bad.
jeez.
Yeah, you're right. Keeper not so certain
Yeah.
about this.
This is where I'm not saying do it straight away early in the match, but later on in the latter stages, if the Mariners are still down, that's where you really try and test the keeper, whip balls into the
Mirage is
area,
right, yeah.
make him second guess. Yeah, that was a really
That was a rocket.
suspect save, though. It's almost like he was two minds whether to catch it or just to parry it, and he just, yeah.
Well, where it bounced didn't help because it was like a couple of feet just in
A
front.
bit
of him.
awkward, yeah.
Yeah.
McCalmont. Ooh, nice ball.
They're putting good balls in the box. That's the thing, right? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's-
He's
it's
looked
there for
really
the taking.
solid early on, McCalmont.
Mm.
The
Oh,
Northern
that's
Irish.
terrible. Handball.
I
No?
think that was shoulder, Christian.
Oh, I'm just trying to help the Mariners here.
Textbook handball, except it didn't hit the hand. So
Yeah.
I always love that the shouts of handball from the crowd when it goes anywhere near somebody's body. It's like, come on, guys.
It's all part of the theatre.
It's
Soak it in. Do we have any comments on the stream? No questions.
Paletti, goal
Oh,
scored
no.
equals park the bus.
So with their usual insight then.
The usual insight, yeah.
But credit, because Shandong haven't parked the bus.
No, they haven't.
They're pressing quite high still. Or at least their midfielders. Their front
Yeah.
line is sort of sitting on the shoulder of those defenders, ready to break on the counter. But the midfield is pressing quite heavily.
Yeah, go away, Paletti Mourinho.
Can you imagine Jose Mourinho coaching in the A-League? Imagine if we got that high-profile sort of
He
manager.
could run
coming.
out of options eventually. He's already
That
to go to
would-
Turkey.
That would be insane. I don't care how washed he is. I would take him in a heartbeat.
Absolutely.
Is he washed though compared to the options that are currently in the A-League? Like,
Carl Viet, cough, cough.
yeah, I didn't want to say it.
You were eventually going to, so someone had
It was
to.
going to happen, wasn't it? It was. I feel like I do hate on him a bit too much sometimes.
Yeah.
But It's all good
I
fun.
feel like it'd be taking a backward step though in a way if we did appoint someone like that. But at the same time, in terms of obviously the promotion, side of things, to get someone of that caliber would be just insane. That'd be sick.
Maybe
You could. I reckon you could see like a Wanderers or something picking him up.
It's such a Wanderers move, isn't it?
And he's just like go to the touchline to talk to Jack Clisby and like whisper
Yeah.
in his ear, and then all of a sudden he's like rolling around on the
Because
floor.
I'm trying to
5
think,
minutes later,
what's the most high profile foreigner coach that the A-League's ever had?
Josep Gombau or Guillermo, maybe.
Would that be up? Yeah. I'm just,
Amor was literally
Probably.
a legend at Barcelona. Like,
yeah. So like we really haven't had anyone like that, but
yeah,
No massive names. No.
no massive names, no.
will we get an airport, surrounding if
We would if
get
it was
one of those signs?
if it was the Wanderers that
Yeah.
got him.
Yeah. The Wanderers know how to do those airport arrivals.
I
Yeah.
still remember the one after they won the Champions League and their fans were all in the airport to welcome the team home.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So that's pretty crazy.
They posted the A-Leagues on their social media yesterday because it was exactly 12 years since Del Piero arrived. And you've got to be fair, that Sydney crowd at the airport, nothing will beat that. That
To
was
be fair,
next
the
level.
answer to your question is probably Dwight York.
Yeah.
He only
But
lasted,
that's
a
in
few
terms of
games.
his playing caliber. I'm talking more of like a managerial
Yeah.
CV.
That's true.
But in terms of the name, you're probably right.
Yeah, there's not been any high-profile coaches that have come to coach here. They've become high-profile after.
Like Josip Gombau is a good example,
Gombau.
but he's still not well. No one really
Yeah.
knew what he was about when he arrived in the league. So
Ange Postecoglou.
okay, well
That's
now,
what
now
I
you
was
can
about to
say,
say. I
yeah,
was like, he's become big afterwards. So
yeah,
it doesn't really count.
yeah. God, this game's petered out the past 5 minutes or so. Nothing much happening.
It's just the ball's getting caught up in midfield a lot. And
Yeah.
the team's able to really get it through. Can I also just say I love that Shandong kit. That looks really good. I like the gradient on that. It reminds me of something.
Yeah.
I can't quite place my finger on what it is.
It looks. Oh, I know what it is. It looks like one of those sun kists. You know, like the ice,
Yeah.
the icy pole in a box.
It looks like one of those FIFA kits or AFC kits
Yeah.
that you just customize and get out of one of those random packs.
It's good. I like it.
New
I
game
like
coming out on Friday.
Lockie's
it. Well,
pre-ordering.
the
Happy-
pre-access is on Friday.
Yeah.
The pre-access, yeah. I think it's midnight Thursday actually.
So-
Right. I'm
on
not going to be up
console,
at midnight
not
on
for you.
Thursday.
No, I'll play a bit on Friday.
Yeah, I might do. We'll see.
Let's be honest, it's not the same when FIFA lost the rights. Let's be honest.
Let's be honest, it hasn't changed at all.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's not changed one bit.
yeah. Some of the logos are missing. Clubs
Oh,
losing
no.
the rights.
Logos
Logos
it's-
are back this year, actually. A lot of them.
Nice.
They've got a lot of those licenses back.
Okay, that's one thing because you want to try and make it as realistic as possible. You lose that,
We literally play Football Manager, which has like 90% of the logos not there. Just
Yeah.
replaced by.
Also, no one actually plays it like the base game. They all get
Yeah,
the logo
they all
packs.
get the skin packs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you seen the one with
Hey.
the like AI generated faces for like regens and stuff?
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Well, here we go.
Tap.
Whoa.
Again, what is that save? Just straight out in front. That's
It was
I
a
don't know.
hard shot.
But that's where you need that player in there to be able to capitalize on the rebound, which there wasn't the option there for it. But
I was going to say if AFC want customized logos, Round Ball Australia, you know where we're at
what are we gonna be
on EAFC
on the AFC?
license
For what?
as a logo. We're going to create our own club.
Oh, right. Like they did with hashtag. Well, here we go.
Yeah. Ooh.
Ingor. Oh, good defending. All right, they're asking some more questions now. I reckon
Caltech
there's a
could learn
goal in
things
this from the
that.
Mariners.
Yeah, they've looked threatening the last few minutes. Just need that
a good
one
ball from
chance to
Frejao.
falter.
Edmondson would be not bad. That's a poor corner.
Not fantastic, was it?
No. Well, it would have been okay, except for the plan was clearly flood the far
Go
post.
back post, yeah.
Yeah.
What was that?
Half an hour gone. 1-0 to Shandong Taishan.
It's moving a lot quicker than those Socceroos games were. So
It is.
it's
That's because there was a goal in it.
yeah.
To be fair, like Iran Kunda would have hit the post at this point. There were a few good chances. It wasn't all doom and gloom, but
Careful. I thought you wanted Arnie to go, Christian.
Yeah.
what was that?
I thought you wanted Arnie to go. You can't give too many compliments.
I want Arnie to stay. Give him another chance to prove why he shouldn't be the Socceroos manager.
Well, he's getting at least one more window, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
James, we talked about this on the podcast, but James Johnson literally said we need to win in the next window. That's the reality. So
Yeah.
if we don't
Basically
get a win-
saying it without saying it.
yeah.
Well, we were wondering before kickoff how long it would take before a Socceroos referencing. 29 minutes in.
There you go.
So
Yeah.
longer than I thought.
Oh, good run,
That's
Qual.
some good play there.
Blocked.
Ooh.
Just a bit
know what
slow
I'm-
on the turn there, I think Edmondson just couldn't
Yeah,
quite get the ball
I think
out.
it was McCalmont, wasn't
Or
it?
was it McCalmont?
Well, that was an interesting point I was going to raise. Is what I've noticed is lots of relationism, Jacob, I believe is the official
Relationism.
term. That you've got this kind of 3-2-5. You talked about how Docker rotates in as well, but
Yeah.
lots of players very comfortable slotting into different positions at various times, and as long as you have those links of what you want, it doesn't have to necessarily be that those players in those positions at that time. Lots of rotation.
Yeah. What it requires is everybody to know what is possible for everyone else to be doing, if that makes sense. And, you've got to know in the back of your mind, he's not going to... he's our right back. That doesn't necessarily mean he's going to be back into the right. He could be up forwards. He could have come inside. Like, you've got to know where everybody else on the pitch is almost sort of instinctually. And that takes a lot of time to ingrain in a team. And I mean, so far it's looking pretty good because there's not been a huge amount of mix-up. There's not been a lot of congestion or anything. There's a lot of space between players, but they're also finding themselves in space between the lines and in those gaps. So it seems to be working. The one problem is in defensive transition where you might have a centre-back who's like Sainsbury has stepped up, or your full-backs are a bit more aggressive and you're leaving space to be countered. And that could be a bit of a danger for the Mariners. So we're seeing the midfield having to put in a lot of work to try and stop these attacking moves.
Yeah.
Better coverage there on the cross-in, though. Well dealt with by Caltech.
Well dealt by the ref.
He actually probably helped him out there.
Yeah. There's a bit of a gap, isn't there, in between the Mariners midfield and the defense, where Shandong are cutting in between the lines, finding that bit of space, and they're moving really well in transition in that final third. So got to be wary of that.
Well, I mean that's part of the problem with having a two-man midfield, right? Is that you're going to be leaving a lot of space because you just can't have two players covering the whole midfield. So it's a bit of a
You obviously need at least one player to come forward and support the attack. So you're leaving yourself a bit vulnerable.
And especially when you wouldn't consider either of the two players, McCalmont or Tap, as out and out lone sixes who can drop a bit deeper and cover a lot of space on their own. It does make things a little bit more difficult. We saw Adelaide experiment with it against the Wanderers in the Cup, but having Jay Barnett in the team was a huge plus because that's exactly what he can do. Is he can drop a bit deeper than his midfield partner and cover a lot of space defensively.
Yeah,
which we're just not seeing here from the Mariners. And it's a lot of work tracking back from the midfielders.
Yeah.
And then potentially, we could see them getting a couple of yellow cards here for sort of professional fouls in the centre of the park because they just can't get in front of their man.
That shot on target all came from Docker just being lazy. Like, he did well to find space in midfield and he had a simple pass to play and just gave it away.
Mm-hmm.
And Gore's impressed the first half an hour or so. He's done a couple of good things on the ball. Still early days, but...
Well, they seem to be targeting him a lot as well in that one-on-one matchup that he's created on the wing. Where, I mean, the fullbacks had the better of him so far, but it might be a case of just wearing him down, or trying to bring another defender over to open up space elsewhere.
It's what tends to happen, isn't it? I'm sure they did their scouting report Shandong before the match, but you see, the first parts of the game, obviously Dong was really threatening in those early stages, and they think, okay, this player is going to be a real threat, so they obviously either double team or keep a real close eye on him, which they have done really well, to be fair to them.
This is the other issue here with the two-man midfielders. Kautak there finds himself on the ball with nobody to pass to and progress it, and has to go backwards.
That is terrible. That's so bad. That is so lackluster.
He's past 2 here. Played out.
Hit it.
It's taken a deflection, easily dealt with.
Yeah.
Mariners could break here, though.
Just
Evanston.
lost a little bit of that initiative in the first 20 minutes. That's a bad foul.
It's a yellow card.
Speaking of yellow cards, Jacob.
Yeah.
Yokohama F. Marinos trailed 2-1 in the other game.
Yeah,
2-1 already. Wow.
They trailed 2-0 after 15 minutes.
It's not great.
Yeah. So John Hutchinson's coaching Yokohama, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the other game on at the moment. They're 35 minutes in as well. And then 10 o'clock Australian Eastern is Buriram against Vissel Kobe. So that's the Thai team against the Japanese champions. And then Shanghai Shenhua, the second place team in the CSL, against Pohang.
So Japan's not one we really have to worry about in terms of coefficient rankings, because aren't they well ahead? Are they first?
So far ahead. Japan
Yeah,
and Korea,
so we don't have to worry about
it's
them.
like
Yeah.
that'll be like a 15, 20 year target, maybe.
Yeah.
So it's not worth worrying about those. And so they're so far ahead. And second and third place have the exact same slot allocation as well. So really what we just want to do is spend the next 3 to 4 years, hopefully not much longer than that, getting above Thailand and China, and then just learn to live and love that third place. And we get 2+1 in the Champions League Elite, and then 1 in the AFC 2 as well.
Yeah. China's going to be really difficult to overtake, though. It's possible, but
it'll be difficult. Well, this is a good year, as I said, because they have 4 teams. So all you need is a couple of teams to do average, and it just drags your coefficient down. If we have 2 teams that do well, that's really good. And if you look at the coefficients scores for the next 3 to 4 years, they have some really good years where we don't. So they're going to have more points dropping off as well.
Yeah.
So the next 3 to 4 year window is a good opportunity, but we need strong results.
Wasted opportunity there from Feijao.
And really the big one this year is Sydney. You know, if Mariners can get out of the league phase, have a crack at the knockouts, good on them. But
do you reckon Sydney will take it seriously, though, Lachlan Jacob?
Yeah.
Like both competitions, just say if Sydney are in front, at least challenging that top 2 position domestically, will they focus on one? Will they prioritise one for the other? Or
well, the Mariners managed to do both, so there's no reason that Sydney shouldn't.
Yeah. It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean Sydney will, though.
No, it doesn't, but they should.
Yeah.
They should.
Like, the Mariners have set the bar now for that. I know it's not the exact same competition, but that second tier of Asian competition of Australian clubs can win it, and rather comfortably as well. They were tested a couple of times later in the tournament, but it was still they never looked like they were completely out of it. As Quola's literally climbed over.
There's no way you can't book him there.
Benefit of the doubt there.
He has to, right?
That was clear.
He's literally like rugby tackled him.
He climbed over the top of him.
Oh, that's unbelievable. You got to remember as well with Sydney, their schedule is easier because they only have 6 games in their like group, whereas the Mariners have 8, and 2 of them are before the A-League starts. So traveling in Asia is hard. We know that, but it's not that intensive, and we know in the A-League, all you got to do is get into finals and you have a chance. So you have no excuses not to go hard at it early.
Yeah.
Even Melbourne City last year in the Champions League, they should have done much better than what they did.
Yeah, but you got to remember they only lost 1 game, and they finished in second place and didn't qualify as an unlucky runner-up.
Paul is still in.
What is going on here? It's a circus.
Is that the same player? I'm pretty sure that's the same player, or the same 2 going at it even. Is it?
I think it is 33.
Yeah.
Oh, I think it might be someone different.
I don't know.
But the first time
someone
around,
different.
was it N'Gore? N'Gore got tackled the
No, it
first
was
time.
Qual the first time.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah.
They're climbing all over each other. It's hilarious. Even the security guy's laughing behind him.
What will Mark Jackson be thinking now? His first 40 minutes on the sideline.
What did we have to concede for? Because really,
Nutmeg.
That's been Shandong's one chance, really, this game.
Oh, he's hit it from
Another chance goes wasted.
Like, if you're going to nutmeg and produce that bit of skill and then produce that, that is so bad. That is poor.
It was just only a couple of minutes ago that he had made himself space on the wing, chance to put the ball into two players in the box, and he shanked it out for a goal kick. So
get him off, I reckon. That's what Mark Jackson's thinking.
Bit to
Sub
improve
him
with
off.
his final product, perhaps.
Yeah.
Well, Eddie says, I try not to bash the referees because I know they have a difficult job they ultimately have. But how does the AFC manage to consistently get refs who fail to be consistent and obvious fouls/cards? I think that's a bit harsh.
Paletti, can I interest you in some arguments I've been making about the Premier League referees? Because it's awfully similar.
It's just referees.
Yeah, that's right. We suck.
I think it's more highlighted in Asia because there's potentially big cultural differences in the way games are refereed between East and West Asia.
And the
and
way
even,
that
even subcategories in there as well.
The way that teams play as well is another thing. Sort of, we know that Asian teams have this, at least sort of stereotype of liking a stop-start game. You know, lots of fouls and set pieces and things like that. They prefer to play in that manner because it disrupts the flow for the opposition. So I think that sort of plays into it as well, because we do see a lot of fouls given in these ones that perhaps in the A-League wouldn't be given and things like that.
And it seems like the thresholds for cards are higher because Australia really prioritises the flow of games.
Yeah.
Mm.
All right, 5 minutes until half time. Can the Mariners push on and get one back before the break?
Are you that delayed, Lockie? I've got 4 minutes to go until halftime.
Oh, I'm just making it. It is 4 minutes, but there's going to be a little bit of injury time.
Yeah. Not much really. Maybe 1 minute. There wasn't too.
Well, then it would be
stoppages.
exactly 5 minutes, wouldn't it, Christian?
Okay. No need to be smart.
Hey, you came at me first. Careful what you wish for.
But we don't know that for a fact, though. We can only say this 4 minutes ago of regular time.
You watch.
Yeah, it will be 1 minute, won't it?
In before it's 6. Pulled out of nowhere.
Just a random 10 minutes gets popped up.
I keep thinking that fouls or something have been called because Shandong just seem to be stepping off a lot.
Yeah.
As play opens up and they step back, and it looks like they're setting up for a free kick or something, but it's
They're very passive.
Yeah.
Mirage just is marauding.
How long have you been waiting to say that for?
I just thought of that on the fly, actually.
There just needs to be more movement in that front line. It's way too static for the Mariners at the moment. There's a lot of space there to be taken, but nobody's moving.
Especially when they get they've had a line of 5 up there at times. Just staying in those channels.
Which, it's fine to want to stay in the gaps, but make some movement, even, drop and try and receive the ball and turn, or make a run in behind or something. They're just standing in line with the defenders. It's a bit pointless. Because then we're seeing the midfielders close down and they don't have a chance to get a pass off. Another dangerous ball.
Before we get to...
I thought that was a corner.
It looked like it might have been, but...
Before we get to half-time, a word on Sabit N'Gore. I'm not sure exactly where he came from, but he signed for Heidelberg in the NPL Victoria halfway through this season, took them to the final series, has earned himself a transfer to the Central Coast Mariners, and now within just a few months of that NPL transfer, he's playing in the best competition in Asia.
Insane when you put it that
way. It's a bit of
way.
a whirlwind time.
Yeah.
It's insane, isn't it?
And again, like we were saying last night on the pod, to instill that faith in the youngsters in the NPL, youth level, and across the domestic competitions over here in the lower tiers, it's good. Obviously, it will do the game good moving forward, exposing that talent, giving them an opportunity. But yeah, that's a rapid rise though.
I think he was in the. I could be wrong, but wasn't he signed with Western United originally at one point?
Yes, yeah, that's correct.
So there's always been at least some recognition of the talent. That's a yellow card, ref. Let's kick the ball away.
Yeah.
Calm down, Declan Rice.
It's anti-Arsenal agenda on display.
Oh, no, he picked it up. Sorry. Gabrielle. That's...
Yeah. Oh, goodness.
Clutch is in. He says thoughts on Ngor so far this game. He's been good. Christian, you said you thought he had moments, right?
Yeah, especially in the first period of the game, I thought he had a couple of good moments. There was one attack on the counter. It took on a couple of plays. You thought, okay, yeah, this play's really threatening. He's going to pose a real danger. And like I was saying to Jacob before, the Shandong defense have really targeted him as a real danger there. So even if it's a double team, getting 2 players on him at one time, they've really contained him well, to be fair. So he hasn't had that much of an impact in the later stages of the first half. But no, he's definitely one to keep an eye out.
He keeps continually finding himself in a 1v1 with the fullback.
And he keeps pushing. He's one of those players who, he has that good initiative where he's not going to drop back. He's fearless. He has that fearless factor about him where he's just going to go. He doesn't matter, what's behind him. He just puts his head down, runs forward, which you need players like that, especially in these types of games where you obviously need to find an equalizer from somewhere. He's one of those players who can provide that bit of spark and,
Has anyone else noticed the banner in the top left of your screen with Che Guevara on it?
Yeah, I did see that earlier.
Interesting. Weird and wonderful parts of Asia.
Ooh, that's a great ball.
That's a ball.
That's where he was a step behind it there, Ngor. He just needed to have made that run a bit earlier, recognised the chance.
That piece of play is from a team who haven't played much together.
Yeah.
It's just that split second. And that's been the story of the whole first half. It's been, the lack of movement, the slow decision making, a bit like the Socceroos, really. We were saying the whole game against Indonesia. Sorry to bring up the Socceroos again, but
they've created many more chances than the Socceroos did, though. So
yeah,
looking good.
They haven't hit the post though, like you're in Kunda. So
they haven't.
So in terms of XG, as Paletti will be keeping a close eye on for the Australia Cup,
XG for that Irankunda shot would have been almost negative XG from where he took it from. Just ping it. That's the thing with Irankunda, is he can just create goals out of nothing with those sorts of shots.
Yeah. He breaks the system, does he? The XG system.
He does. It's crazy looking at his shot map, how it's like he misses high XG chances, but buries ones from 40 yards out that have like 0.001.
What was that goal he scored a few years ago at national team level from almost halfway out? What was that competition?
It was in like an under-18 competition, wasn't it? Yeah.
It's just, you did not expect it. He's just taken the shot, and the XG,
there's
0.0 surely.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So he actually won the matchup there. I think that's the first time he's won that matchup directly with his fullback. So that's a promising sign.
Just
so
took himself too wide.
Yeah, if he can start doing that a bit more often, that could be a bit of a threat.
Is this the Mariners' 10th corner of the game or something like that? They've had heaps.
Not quite as many as the Socceroos the other night. But...
I was going to say that as well. But I thought, no, better not. Easy. See, this keeper is fragile, I'm telling you.
There's a goal in it.
Oh, he's caught that. Fair play.
It was a good corner, but it didn't match up with what the players in the box were doing. It's in a good spot, but there was nobody on the penalty area, like on the penalty spot. It was they were all back and front post.
Yeah.
But again, like you were saying just before, Christian, that's probably a case of a team that just hasn't had much time together to be able to get it quite right yet.
Yeah. I mean, based off the balance of play this first half, you think that the A-League season is almost about to conclude, and
Oh,
the Chinese league is going to start in a few weeks' time. That's
Some
how.
good play here.
Yeah.
that was really
Here we
good
go.
from Fei Xiao.
Oh,
Edmondson!
nah.
Oh,
And
That's better.
Time.
3 minutes and
that
40
last
seconds
five
of added time, Lockie. Didn't even get to 49.
You're
we
a
were
liar.
both on this. Work to do in the second half from the Central Coast Mariners. It's 1-0 at half-time to Shandong Taishan. That was a great turn from Fei Xiao. He's had little moments of brilliance as well.
He's looked pretty good. Like I was saying before, it's his final product that's lacked so far. He's not quite been able to put that ball into the box, or
Oh, hold on. I think we have a VAR review.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Looks
No,
like
but
it.
he blew for half time. Can you reverse that?
Yeah, you can. So it looks
Because
like we're
it's
looking
until
at a
it-
potential penalty.
It's until play is restarted, right? That they can.
They're
Possible
looking for
penalty
a
Central
handball.
Coast.
Handball, I
Or the
assume.
shirt tug. Someone went down in the early phase of that
yeah.
corner. Come on, let's get a cheap one.
Oh yeah, it's
I
on
see it
just
at the
above
back.
the penalty
yeah,
spot. Yeah.
I see it.
Is it?
Who is it?
Yeah, he's got his arms around him.
Is it Tap?
Ooh,
Tap,
yeah.
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 It doesn't look good, does it?
He's got that right arm into his chest.
It can be interpreted as a soft, though. I mean, Sainsbury had a similar one 2 minutes in where we could have easily said that was
Oh, he
we were
could get
close
to that
a penalty.
ball, though, you know.
Yeah. And like this was the England playbook in the 2018 World Cup, was get Harry Kane to be dragged down in the box.
I'm sorry, but what is that? What is that VAR image? What are you seeing from this angle? What are you
bit
seeing? There's nothing there. All right, this is a better angle.
The arm is around him. I would still... it's definitely a soft penalty, if anything.
This is better.
But
This is better.
especially in Asia, these get given.
It's there's clearly no intent other than to completely stop Tap from getting to the ball.
Penalty. He's given
it's
it.
given.
Yes.
That's the
Yellow
thing,
card.
Yellow card as well. Yeah.
Come on. Oh, and he's remonstrating. Give him 2. Go on, give him 2.
But I don't think he was going to get to that ball. But at
Stand
the
up for
same
yourself,
time,
ref.
you
Come
still
on.
got to give that, I reckon,
It was
in my opinion.
enough of a decent position where it was possible for him to get there. It's absolutely a soft penalty.
If I had to guess, I'd assume he wasn't going to get there. But in terms of the contact, that doesn't mean you can't give the penalty. It's,
Yeah, you can't just
can't-
like headbutt
Yeah,
someone
yeah.
in the box and go, oh, but he wasn't.
Yeah,
Gonna
yeah,
get
no,
to the ball.
Yeah, I know.
That's why I hate the I played the ball ref argument. It's like, yeah, you also broke the guy's leg.
Anyway, whether it's soft or not, the result is that Mariners have a penalty. We are still in the first half. Yellow card and a penalty after the halftime whistle. Yes, that is correct, Clutch. Madness. There was like a Premier League game or something last year or the year before where the full time whistle went, and then there was a
Manchester United against Brighton.
There you go, a penalty after the final whistle. So we've had a repeat of that here. The Mariners will have a chance to equal.
And the arguments were that once the full-time whistle blows, that you can't go back on your decision. But the rules state that you obviously can. Yeah.
Reminds me of when VAR first came in, and there was a Bundesliga game where a team scored, and then it was brought back for a penalty for the other team that happened 2 minutes earlier or something.
Yeah.
But it was the same passage of play because the play hadn't been stopped. So they brought it back for a penalty for the other team. Like that's sucks.
I haven't watched the Bundesliga game since COVID. Since the lockdown, and Dortmund played Schalke in that first game back.
Well,
They were the only
I
game
just
going
remember
on.
the outrage over it, and people going, "Oh, VAR is going to ruin the game," and we're still having the same conversations today. So,
Who's taking it?
It'll be Mikel Docker. Some good
Docker.
gamesmanship. Oh, that's Danny Vukovic. Have they given him an official role? Have they?
Oh, what's happening here? A bit of a.
it's a bit of a argy bargy. Edmondson
Who's got
gets
that?
the yellow. Edmondson.
Looks like
that is silly.
Oh, keep an eye on the penalty spot.
guy behind.
guys. Yeah. So Edmondson's trying to shield the player from getting to Docker. Couple of light pushes.
I think it's probably something he said. I'd say over, because it looked like he was saying some pretty heated stuff.
There you go. There's some lip reading there. Good angle. Danny Vukovic, team official, it says on his badge.
Team it's the same for Mark Jackson. I was like, he's a bit more than a team official. It's the
Here we
head
go.
coach.
Will be Mikhail Docker.
Come on.
The perimeter has been set. Goalie's on his line. Whistle blown.
He's got it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Get in. Good penalty from Docker. Low to the right.
Well in, son. Look at the celebration. Is that to the home fans? Yeah.
The photographer.
Is that the keep?
The keeper.
Is that
the keeper's having a go at him. Probably for the celebration. There's a bit of fight in this one.
This is getting juicy.
Here we go.
Here we go. Could be a couple of red cards here. It's kicking off.
This guy's already on a yellow.
Wow.
Docker.
Wow.
I'm sure the local Shandong crowd was not happy with the awarding of that penalty.
Out of all times to blow half time, it was just getting entertaining.
I wonder if there's a story, because he did and I'll model it for you. He did the fingers to the ears celebration.
Yeah.
That's obviously like a.
He gets a yellow card for it,
which was expected. Yeah, can't complain.
But it's not always like a shut up thing. Like we know Jake Brimmer. Like this is a signal for his daughter, right? Like it's not even like.
It could also be
no, but you've got to take into context as well, given the situation that celebration there to the home fans. You knew what he was doing. You can't hide it. He knew exactly what he was doing.
Are they lining up? What's going on here?
Yeah, I think they have to take the kickoff and then he'll blow for half time, maybe.
What they don't have
he's
to.
called for it now. There you go.
He just wants to get out of there. He's been harassed by absolutely everyone.
This guy is lucky he's not been sent off yet, because he got the yellow card for the penalty. Didn't shut up to the ref for the 3 minutes while the penalty was awarded.
He shushed the crowd first as soon as he scored. He
gave a little shush. Then an I can't hear you.
I want to see the goalkeeper race out. It's not going to show it, but. Look at the keeper just rushing in here.
Watch this photographer as well. This is the best thing I've ever seen. Come on, show him.
Here it is.
He's trying to get a good angle. The keeper gets out in there quick, obviously trying to defend his own supporters. Docker gives the thumbs up to the ref giving him
I think he knew that was going to be a yellow card. Can't complain.
Wow, plenty of drama to end the first half. So
look, the whole Shandong coaching staff are out there on the pitch arguing with the ref at the moment.
Lucky. I said it was 3 minutes 40, and it's gone to 9 minutes.
9 minutes. So does the 15 minutes start when you blew halftime the first time?
I think so. Yeah.
Clutch says trying to piece this game together through you all is too funny. It was a fun game for the first 40 minutes, but it's really stepped up since half time.
You can say that.
Since half time.
Since they blew the end of the first half. Wow, crazy. Yeah. Somehow 1-1.
Well, Mariners will take that. They've had some decent chances, just needed something to go their way, and well, there you go. It's potentially soft penalty, but you get them, you've got to score them, and they did. So
you love a cheap one away from home.
That's right. Makes your job a lot easier.
Absolutely.
And especially because then it gets one of their defenders on a yellow card. You know, it's got them riled up. They're more likely to be making mistakes and things now. So Mariners, you'd hope, have the upper hand going into the second half.
Yeah.
Not that they didn't have the upper hand in this first half, as these stats show.
It could work the opposite way, though. Shandong were a bit disappointing in terms of what they had to offer, and they could get fired up quite easily. You know, it only takes a moment like this to really get them rolled up. So we'll see.
Clutch says, quote, since halftime is a wild thing to say still in the first half.
Yeah.
All right. Well, while we have a little bit of a breather from this action, Clutch, I'm really glad you're here because I need to ask you a question because I've been following you on Twitter and I've seen it appear on the timeline that you were going back and watching all of the Melbourne Victory A-League women's games from the 23-24 season. And you don't know the results, and you're going through it, and you're almost like live tweeting as you're watching. It's been thoroughly entertaining. How did this come about? Because you're an American. How did you get involved with Australian football, and how did this all come about? Because it's very funny to watch as Monique comes back in and says, "I'm back. What did I miss?" Dear
Everything.
Lord. Dear Lord, what did you miss? Let me give a quick 20-second synopsis for you. The referee blew halftime. There was a VAR review. Mariners got a penalty. Lots of gamesmanship. Docker scored the penalty. Shushed the crowd. The goalkeeper came charging out and getting in his face. and then it all kicked off.
So there was a goal, and what was it? 3 yellow cards given after halftime. The halftime whistle had been blown. So that's pretty impressive because Edmondson got a yellow as well.
Yeah.
But the bit that you missed, that was the best bit, was his photographer just running in front of Docker as he's celebrating to get a real close-up.
Not even that. He was so proud of himself that he got the shot.
But it's like, don't use the zoom function. No, just stand really, really close and put the camera in their face. It's so good.
And he's got the unique shot, hasn't he? The celebration like that.
Yeah,
hey,
one of a kind.
That's gonna be on the back pages.
Companies are going to be paying thousands for that photo on Getty Images.
Whatever the Chinese equivalent is.
Yeah.
I feel like my heart rate's just coming back down. Sounds entertaining. Oh, you don't know the half of it. It was a good quality game of football for the first 40 minutes, but the drama. Mariners get a cheapie just before half time, well in the game. And to be honest, the goal that Shandong scored, it was just really one moment of quality. They haven't had too much after that.
When did this happen? We missed this. Docker getting
the edge.
Completely just clattered into on the edge of the box there.
Yeah, you're right. I don't remember that.
Yeah.
We'll put it down to Paramount lag, and we missed that section.
Yeah, that's right. It might have even just been like a replay of something that happened before, and then that happened.
Maybe.
Again.
Yeah.
There's been some hard challenges going in though.
So Clutch talking about his interest in Australian football. Long story, but I have a terrible work and sleep schedule. In brackets, it's 4 a.m. right now.
Don't we all?
Started watching Victorian men last year and got addicted to NPLW afterwards. Wanted to educate myself a bit on the Victory women's team, and highlights don't tell you enough about a squad. That is dedication, I must say.
I respect that.
Very impressive.
Yeah.
And Jacob, you're no stranger to watching a few 90-minute replays to get some scouting work done.
Yeah.
That's intense.
That's dedication. I've seen some comments of people being like, when they were like, if they're international based A-League fans, because they work the night shift and it's like it's the only football that's on at that time, so they get engrossed in it sort of thing. But to just on a whim basically start watching, it's pretty crazy. So we get a replay of the photographer. I love it so much.
He's just like the typical, like, grandpa with the phone.
Yeah.
He's so innocent.
It's so good. He's wearing sandals as well. I don't know if you guys caught that. Like, it just, everything about it is so good. That's going to be the one thing I remember from this match. It's going to be that guy. There you go. One hell of a half of football.
Absolutely.
But, Mariners will be absolutely wrapped with that equaliser just before the break, just what they needed.
And it's not undeserved. They were the better team in that first half.
No, a draw is minimum of what they deserved, at least.
Yeah, for sure.
Shandong hardly did anything. They had a couple of breakouts with the counters when the Mariners got exposed. Pushing too many numbers forward, and Shandong really exposed that, but weren't efficient enough. And besides that, the general play, I think the Mariners have definitely been the better of the two.
Yeah, for sure. They've just controlled the tempo of the game a lot more. And, I was saying about how Asian teams prefer to play sort of a stop-start type of game, but the Mariners haven't really let that happen all too much. And when they have been fouled, they've made sure that it's, in good areas, it's, getting the opposition on yellow cards and stuff, so that it's going to prevent that happening more in the second half, unless, Shandong makes some early subs, right, and then potentially put them a bit behind the game. So, no, it's been, really good to watch from, a neutral perspective. I don't have a dog in this race, but, in wanting the Mariners to do well, I think that they've looked good.
Yeah, you do, absolutely.
Yeah. But yeah, like I was saying, the Mariners, that they've looked good. Let's just hope they can sort of get those connections firing a bit more in the second half, because they've looked a little bit off step with each other. They're not quite on the same.
I was going to say they haven't been overly perfect. You can say there's been a few sloppy passes being played. It hasn't been fluent as such compared to what we're so accustomed to seeing of the Mariners especially in the past 2 seasons.
Yeah.
But like we said, it comes down to how much game time they've played together as a group and, competitive football wise, and it hasn't been much. So that's fully expected. And playing away from home as well, like, you got to cut him a bit of slack. So, I mean, Mark Jackson might make a change or two at halftime. Probably doesn't with that equaliser now. He can probably, go out with the same team for at least a little while and, go from there.
Jack, I'm going to ask you to pull up the stream and maybe give it a mute so you can see the tactics board that I've worked up. We can do a little talking tactics segment. So I've done my best to draw somewhat what I believe the Mariners outfit look like in possession.
Yeah.
So obviously you've got Kaltak, Sainsbury, Mirages, and then Docker's this real linchpin that acts as his transition. So you've got this back four. They step up in position. Docker's really stepping up the field on that right side. And then you got Kaltak in the middle of Mirages and Sainsbury as a back three.
Mm-hmm.
You got your two in midfield, Tapp and McCalmont. They've been rotating a fair bit. You've got it's probably the other way around, isn't it? Edmondson's dropping maybe a little bit deeper. Qual's the higher guy. Depends. They probably rotate a little as well.
Mm-hmm.
Igor out wide on the left, and then Fei Xiao, and sometimes Fei Xiao's coming in and Docker's hugging that wing like that. It's interesting. Lots of versatility here.
It's really dependent on, a lot of it is pinned around Docker's movement. Because when he steps up into attack, we're seeing Tapp have to step up a level in the midfield. And we've even seen Sainsbury come inside and play as sort of a 6 when that happens to provide a bit of defensive stability in transition for the side. So it does seem to be sort of pinned around, what Docker is doing at any given time. And Gore has stayed out as far left as he can pretty much the whole game. I think the idea is to continue to draw those 1v1s and try and isolate him as much as possible. And then, the rest of the team moves around what Docker's doing, whether by design or not. It's smart because it's been working for them. But it also allows Docker to be at his most effective because he's able to find space. And, the players that they've got are capable of making those sort of rotations and having them work out without it being a problem. It's really, Kaltak has been, I've very rarely seen him step up. He's been the anchor of the side for the most part. There was one time he won the ball back and he sort of took it for a little bit of a dribble into the midfield. But other than that, he's stayed very solidly at the back. I think it makes a lot of sense, especially, Christian, you were saying in those first 5 minutes or so, Shandong were getting balls in behind and trying to exploit how aggressive the Mariners were playing. So it's probably an adjustment that Mark Jackson made to make sure to say, hey, Brian, stay deeper, because we need somebody to sweep up those balls in behind that we didn't have in that opening stage of the game. So that's one adjustment that I definitely noticed. And also Edmondson playing a lot higher than I thought he would do. But I guess that makes sense when you've got Docker inverting like he has been and playing in that 8 role anyway. You're not losing out on having a player in that area of the pitch, and then you can keep Edmondson up front as sort of a target man for when the ball is worked out wide, as we've seen a few times. There was that ball late in that half from Fei Xiao, which I don't think Edmondson was actually in the box for that one, but that's the sort of area he could find himself in, where he's making those runs into the box to meet the balls from out wide. So it does seem like the Mariners are very well set up. I don't think we would have expected anything different from Mark Jackson. He's shown that he's perfectly capable of setting up a side well, and while there's a lot of flexibility, there's a clear structure to it as well, right? There's a lot of fundamental underpinnings there of, we don't want to overload too many areas because that causes congestion. We want players to be free to move, but also make sure that we have defensive coverage in transition. So, it's a really well done thing so far. And even though it does look quite aggressive, they've actually maintained possession well too, without having to recycle it. So, no, it looks like a really solid setup for the Mariners.
And then we look back and we think about how they set up, off the ball. It's very simple. It's what we see a lot. This kind of 4-4-2. They did this last year as well. Docker comes back all the way deep when he can, but sometimes, you'll have a player that rotates into that position if it's too far up the field. You've got Tapp and McCalmont in midfield. Fei Xiao and Igor flatten out. And then you've got the two up top. So instead of last year where we had Nisbet as that kind of creative midfielder stepping up, you've just got that outright front two that get that 4-4-2, and then it's really solid and it's hard to break down, Christian.
I think that might change though. If the scores stay level, for example, deep on in the match, we could see maybe a sole striker, whether it's Edmondson could be an option if he doesn't get subbed out of the game. Could just be the lone striker and then get a couple more plays deep because, like we mentioned at the top of the show, this would be a vital point for the Mariners' first game. Like Mark Jackson would take this any day of the week away from home. It would be a terrific result for them, especially being 1-0 down. So I think the shape might adjust a bit as the game progresses. Obviously, it depends on what happens. But I've been impressed with Sainsbury as well with his movement, both with and without the ball.
Yeah.
I think he's been a bit more of a progressive defender. Obviously, you touched on the Kaltak dropping as sort of the anchor to shore up the defense after a few nervy moments at the start of the game with those counter attacks. But Sainsbury, we know how good he is on the ball. Very positive first half from him.
Welcome in, Will.
Hello, boys. How are we?
Howdy.
Good. I just have to alter my.
Your team's losing 4-1, mate. Half time.
I skipped behind. I had a look.
Yeah.
You watched it?
Yeah, I watched the rugby tackle. I surprised Mariners have branched out into Gaelic football. That was a nice tackle, clean tackle there.
Did you see the whole fiasco?
Not the fiasco around for the pen. Like they called half time and then and then looked back. Yeah, one of those.
Did you
ones,
see the celebration?
Doctor celebration?
Yeah.
No, I didn't. What did he do?
Oh my god, he's missed the whole thing, base. He's missed the whole first
I'll
half.
rewind
The
it.
bit, yeah.
I saw him jump over the fence or something.
He jumped over the fence, gave it a bit of a shush to the crowd.
Gave it the big one.
And then
The fingers in the ears, yeah.
And then there's this old Chinese bloke that Jake has been fawning over. And he's like phone out, like taking a photo. Like,
Yeah, I love that.
And then the Shandong goalkeeper jumped over the fence and was like giving it to him as well for like shushing the crowd and everything. It's great drama.
Spicy game then.
It's been good.
Spicy game.
Important to get that goal before half time. I'm sure you guys have said so. That's good signs.
Yeah. Well, we're just kicking off into the second now. Hopefully, it starts as we ended the first, the second time. But yeah, what's your view as a Mariners fan, Will? Because we were saying, a point away from home in this league phase where you only need top 8 of 12, getting a point away would be massive.
Yeah, like a point away is big, but I just don't think you can shut up shop. I don't think they've ever played like that. So no, 100%. That's a great equaliser, and we'll hopefully
these silly fouls.
Giving the ball away in a very dangerous position.
He's asking for the yellow.
Honestly, fair. Like
Shandong
If
have
you ask
made
for
some subs here, by the way, as well. I'm not sure if the player they brought off is one of the ones who has a yellow card. I'd be surprised if it wasn't, considering I think they've got about 3 or 4 players on yellow cards now. So
it's not a yellow.
haven't
Isn't
made
asking
really
for a card a yellow itself now?
Well, you should have seen the whole Shandong coaching staff were on the pitch arguing with the ref after the second time half time was blown
if he's giving that a yellow card, he needs to go back and give about 14.
Okay.
Anyway,
No, but yeah,
free kick here.
What are the chances of a red card occurring in the second half?
high, very high.
Nah, I reckon low. I reckon they've calmed down now.
Oh, you reckon?
Yeah.
It's a bold statement.
Honestly,
I don't
half
like,
time does wonders.
I don't like this position.
No, that's well dealt with.
Yeah.
Well dealt with.
I'm behind again.
Christian's always
refresh.
just been ahead recently.
It's because I was I think skipping back, so I need to refresh. Because it was happening for the Socceroos game where I was too far behind and I was out of it, out of the action, and it was just
I find sometimes when I switch tabs and go back into it, it like stops for a little bit and then starts again, and so it's behind.
I just ticked over 47. What are we? 47.04.
Oh, I'm behind you.
I'm 47 on the dot.
I'm a couple of seconds behind that, so
Okay.
we're all about
I
the
can
same.
pause
refresh
for a
mine
second.
as
Alright.
well.
That means I'll refresh mine to be ahead.
Christian has to be in front.
I'm at 47.15.
Yeah.
Okay.
The scoreboard's vanished. Hold on. And 47-26.
Yeah, we're fine. We're good now.
Yeah, we're all the same.
You know what? Okay, this is a frustration that I'll bring to the group. When you bring up like a flash score or a foot mob and you have the teams and like they have the field and they have one team on one half, one on the other.
Yeah.
I need the option to be able to flip which half they're on. So I want to have it on my screen to the half that the teams are kicking to, so I can match up the players with their positions. I need that desperately.
That's why I use SofaScore, because they do it
Well,
a vertical one when I've got it as a small window. Like
I was going to say I'm
Yeah.
on SofaScore, but it's
so mine's gone vertical because of the size of the window that I've got, so I can just tell.
Yeah, but even that's not ideal though.
the results on Google aren't even showing up. If you search up Mariners, the results don't show up. Champions League Elite, none of the results show up. They usually do on Google. That's usually my go-to source.
So
I don't use.
just a question for you then, Lockie. Do you get confused by mirrors?
No, but
It's
hard
not the same
because
side that it's
I
on.
just want to look at a glance. Someone's the right back's over by that touchline. I can look at a glance and see Trent Moraga is over by that touchline. It makes it easy for me.
Jacob, that was a bit harsh.
Trent
Lockie doesn't
Bahaja.
talk like that.
I'd be amazed if Trent Bahaja
Find
was
it-
on the right
Sorry,
wing.
Mirages.
It's fun. A time traveling machine in
Yeah.
there as well, taking us back to 2017.
But the thing I like about FootMob as well, at least for most of the players, it has the faces there as well. Faces, numbers,
that's
player
true.
names, positions if they're listed correctly.
Well, speaking of SofaScore, it looks like the momentum has been Mariners' way.
Yes, heavily.
So okay,
It has been, yeah.
Yeah.
Shandong have had the chance they scored from,
Yeah.
and they put a couple of balls into the box, but they've not been threatening. Whereas the Mariners have had a few chances that just not quite there.
yeah. How have they? I don't know how impartial I can be. I'm wearing a Mariners top, so I can say
That's
we're
fine. We
right.
don't, we don't need you to be impartial today.
Very good. How have we been at the back? Because that was my main concern watching the
Three at the
Australia
back.
Cup.
So 3 at the back, but it's been the first 5 or so minutes, and we were just talking about this before you joined. Like, because the Mariners were very aggressive, there was a lot of space in behind that Shandong were looking to exploit.
Yeah.
So it's a clear adjustment that Kaltak has stepped back and he's playing as sort of like an anchor, sweeping up the balls behind. Whereas the others have been sort of playing their usual, they're a little bit higher up, involved in play a bit more.
I was
Sainsbury
gonna-
as well has been stepping up.
Yeah.
To-
I was going
to
to say
negotiable
who
carries,
I
so.
think Kaltak does work really well as that last defender. He's very good at reading the game, and he's probably the player you'd want at that if Sainsbury moves the outside there and Moragas moves on the left. So that's good to see. But yeah, I think that Sainsbury's signing could be transformative compared to how we saw it in the Australia Cup, because it just was
insane that. That's such a good centre back pairing of Kaltak and Sainsbury.
Yeah, that's
it's
got
unfair.
to be one of the best in the league. Yeah,
Unfair.
100%. I love Nathan Paul. Looks like he has a future, but it was just
Jacob's jealous because of Adelaide United's central.
We don't have any centre backs at the moment.
we have too many. I'm keen to see Diesel Harrington as well. We haven't seen
Anchor's
yet.
on the bench.
Yeah,
So you can donate a centre back to.
you can
Adelaide,
have. We
yeah.
have one spare. Probably we do have one spare.
Honestly, get a loan out. Get a
We're
loan.
gonna need one.
Yeah.
We're gonna need one.
Pay 75% of his
Yeah.
wages.
You can have Cameron Windust. I'll give you Cameron Windust.
Cameron
I love him
Windust.
too.
Yeah.
But you can have Cameron Windust.
Wasn't he released? Didn't
Hold up.
I think he might have been like, oh.
Oh, that's ringing a bell. Yeah.
In which case, there's no reason not to pick him up.
Yeah.
Beggars can't be choosers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Knowing that the Mariners have perhaps had just the edge, and only they're only obviously 1-0 through 1-0 through a penalty, but perhaps had the edge in the first half. How does this alter either any of your expectations about what this competition may look like and what the Mariners may look like, having lost so many players?
I mean, they look comfortable, don't they? That's for sure. And it could be a case of just perhaps Shandong underestimating them a little bit, perhaps. But it could also be, a display of the Mariners' level and where they're at as a team, and that they can be actually a pretty big threat for some of these bigger sides.
No. Why are you shooting from there?
Did you see that
That's just a
little
waste.
inside out?
Yeah,
flip
little
flop from
shimmy.
Fejal, though?
Yeah.
He's had some good one-on-one
He looks
moments.
very good on the ball. But again, it's that end product. I think he might need to work on that a little bit. It's been
Yokohama just scored down 3-2.
Wow.
That's a game.
Yeah,
Not as good as this
flip
one.
over if you want. You can start your own stream, Christian.
Yeah.
Watch that one instead.
Yeah, totally missed Windus. It does sound familiar now, but yeah, went to Marconi. Got a
Oh,
lot
he
of
went to
minutes
Marconi, did he?
for Marconi there. So
Okay.
which I hadn't seen them play. So yeah, because I remember he was getting minutes at the start of the season. He'd always come off the bench, and I saw him a lot. So that one slipped me by.
There's a couple of those.
I don't know if this is deliberate, but Sainsbury's now in the middle of this back three.
Yeah.
And Docker's dropping back, and it's Mirages who's bombing up the left.
I don't think it's massively surprising because there was a lot of space being left. Christian pointed it out between the lines of defence and midfield for the Mariners, and part of that is because Docker was, he was so advanced that in coming back it was just leaving a huge gap there that the midfielders couldn't cover, just the two of them. So probably with the game now at 1-1, don't want to risk going behind again. You just sort of see it out for a little bit and try and wear them down a bit more. Play a bit more cautiously, I think.
But you don't want to. You got to be careful as well not to play too defensively because, as Will said, that's not the Mariners' DNA.
Yeah.
That's not how they play. And if you revert to that sort of timid approach when you're not used to that sort of style, especially in this competition away from home, it can bite you in the backside if you don't get it right. So they don't have that experience as of yet playing that way where they can just grit out a result. It's going to have to be 5-10 minutes to go. Yeah, okay, then you can do it, but they've just got to be mindful of time management when they do it.
The other interesting thing here, and I'm drawing this up to everyone watching on the tactical pad, but they've moved out Ngor over to the right wing, and Fei Xiao is now playing centrally. So it might look more like a traditional number 10 now with him in there, and then the Qual and Emberton is more of a traditional two striker pair, with Mirage just occupying the wing space on the left. So this is another. They're moving some players around, but it's also a slight shift in structure as well.
Yeah, it could be the case of. I mean, I don't think Mikael Docker had much of a threat going forwards in that first half of the Mariners. He didn't quite look as dynamic as he did last season. Part of that could be because he wasn't quite as wide, right? He was coming inside, playing in that sort of half space. So, I mean, it's just change something up to see what works. It is interesting because it's still keeping Ngor in that 1v1, that isolation that worked pretty well in the first half as well, because Docker isn't getting as far forward. So keen to see how that battle plays out. And because it's then shifting it as well, it's the right back's had his go. Now it's on the left back to try and contain him.
Has Ngor looked all right?
Yeah. He's had some bright moments.
Yeah.
Is it?
I thought that was in. Own goal.
Oh. A little bit passive there in the box, you'd say.
It was. Well, who was it that stepped in and made that challenge, and then it just fell to another Shandong player anyway? That was just about the only decent defensive moment in that passage.
That could have gone anywhere. So lucky.
Oh.
I think his shin pad came off.
It did.
Yeah, Sainsbury.
That's the second time he lost it just a couple of minutes before as well.
If he loses it one more time, he's not making the Socceroos squad.
It's a yellow
Keep
card.
his shin pads.
No, it's been too long without a low sock centre back.
Good header away.
That's a very good header.
The aura will.
Yeah, it's jogging
Well
and looking good.
So Caltech, we decided was partly at fault for the goal. Just like it was a good ball in, but
it looked like Sainsbury was a bit flat-footed.
Yeah,
he was, but I don't think Sainsbury knew that the runner, the Shandong player was making that run because Caltech had just lost him.
Okay. I watched it quickly once and then
but he's been on it since then. He's won everything.
So it looks No, I mean obviously I was a bit skeptical. Australia Cup looked so frustrating, just chance after chance dominating, but not the final product that we had, and not the complete package that we were last season. So that is good signs. We'll see after this half how I'm feeling, but optimistic now for sure.
Well, I think
everyone's got Mariners quite low on their predictions, and I think I don't know. It's happened 3 times in a row now. So. Well, everything I'm seeing is around barely making finals.
Yeah.
So
There's that one that I put in the group chat where somebody had Adelaide finishing
Oh,
fifth, which I thought was hilarious.
Adelaide above Mariners. I was
Yeah.
like, okay, if that happens, I will.
Okay, you're right. There's definitely been a few crazy predictions already this year.
Everyone writes us off. No one rates us, mate. No one rates us.
Yeah, but you love playing that though.
That's it.
More than happy to be in that position.
That's what we sing most of the time.
I've just started thinking about where I want to place all these teams in my predictions, and teams like the Mariners are throwing a bit of a spanner in the works.
Yeah, there's a
especially
couple
after this
where
performance tonight.
I just think that the difference of where they could finish is bigger than a lot of other clubs. It feels like a narrow slot for most teams, and then you don't know what you're gonna get.
Mariners are joker, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, love that Sainsbury.
But it depends where I place them in my predictions. Well, if I place them last, then they're going to be winning the championship.
Yeah.
So
If I never view your prediction, then it's not really Schrodinger's prediction. I
was about to say Schrodinger's prediction.
I don't want to look at it. Screw up every statistic. Every model is thrown out the window if you're involved.
Even the XG model.
I'm not sure.
Will wasn't there. Will wasn't here. I should have mentioned it.
Yeah.
Inside joke.
That's decent press from the Shandong midfield there.
Tell you what, I'm really excited about Fei Jiao through the middle.
Yeah.
We're hitting the 60th minute. A set of substitutes coming in for Shandong. I don't think there's any movement on the Mariners bench just yet. Maybe a quick little opportune drinks break.
Commentator said the main man who has had a bit of a niggle, so a dangerous player coming on.
Okay. While the Mariners goalkeeper Pavlicic calling for the physio.
Crap, I think.
Yeah. God, I had cramp in my hamstring a couple of weeks ago. It was pure agony. I was just sitting down watching TV, and then all of a sudden, just this pain just shot through my leg. I was like,
really humbles you. Yeah.
It was that was so bad.
Jeez.
But at least now I know the correct stretch to get rid of hamstring cramp. So.
You've been watching football for that long, and you didn't know how to do the leg thing.
Yeah, but you need two people.
But you've got to sit like a perfect 90-degree, and like you've got to get your arms outside of your legs and as far forwards as you can go, and hold it until the cramp goes away, and then you've got to hold it for 30 seconds after the cramp is gone, so it doesn't
keep coming back. That's it.
Or you just take pickle juice, and that will ease the problem.
It's the worst idea.
It's good. Magnesium tablets. That's what
Magnesium, yeah.
All right, we're back in now. I think
Was
that
that
Shimpad's gone.
yeah, I was going to say, was that Fei Jiao's Shimpad just flying?
Oh, that's a ball.
Looked like handball. Yeah.
See, that one's a handball, Jacob.
It's a yellow card. Just keep the ball away.
You literally won the North London derby on the weekend. How are you still in a bad mood about it?
Well, we can win a game, but there can still be an agenda against the club. It's a win in spite of it, not because of...
Sent him.
Oh.
Good switch. The player went down there on the other side.
Yeah, what's happened there?
Penalty.
Bit of a coming together. Reminds me of a game. This is one hell of a throwback. I think it was 2013. Whenever it was the last year of Melbourne Hearts, I think 2013, right? And it was like round 24 at home against Melbourne Heart for Adelaide United, and one of the most heated games I've ever seen, and an all-time stinking referee performance.
Yeah.
Just one of the Heart players just falls down in the box completely out of play, but nobody's quite sure what's happened. Ball goes out a couple of minutes later, and the referee comes back and just gives a penalty and sends Elrich off. And it's like, what's going on here? And it just blew up. But yeah, that sort of reminded me of that, where just a player just falls down completely out of play, and at least now we've got VAR, I guess, so you can check on what's happened. But
another one of Jacob's archive moments.
Yeah.
I just every now and again I just have memories of some of those older games.
You have this random flashback, and
yeah. These are my formative A-League memories, you know.
Yeah.
those older games of or watching us win the what used to be called the pre-season cup against Perth Glory.
Yeah.
I remember that. And it's like just weird things like that. And I can remember that more vividly than I can remember some of the games from last season.
That's saying something.
Yeah.
So looking at the Mariners bench here, Will, really only Storm Roo that's been an established first-team player in the past. Who else were you looking at to potentially come on this game?
Well, yeah, there's some exciting names, honestly, there. I was going to mention before. Arthur Zalima has had a fantastic NPL season, and I got to watch him against Apia, and that was a massive win in terms of staying or getting into the promotion playoff, or relegation playoff, sorry. So would deserving of some minutes for sure out of the names there. Brantman has been really good. Last season he flipped between the first team and the NPL side as well. He was really strong in the NPL games, very dominant in the games that I've watched. So wouldn't be surprised to see him as well. He looks like somebody that Jackson definitely trusts. He's anywhere through the middle, kind of in the midfield. Was playing more as a 10 or higher up the pitch in the NPL, but in one of those central midfield roles when he was playing later on in the A-League games. So no, exciting names as much as we don't really. They're not household names, but definitely some depth there. Kusevski as well, back from a long injury, has had some minutes, and he looked like a great player. So good to see. I don't know if this is the stage for him to kind of be making more of his comeback on. Definitely a high pressure environment for that, but excited to have him back.
Dangerous turn.
Dangerous.
It's the new sub.
Ooh, block.
Ooh,
It's kind of.
Sorry, I'll hold off the reactions.
I was going to ask if you think that there's a potential there, Will, for in the latter stages of the game, potentially to give a spell to one of a Harrington or a Poole or somebody, and try and give a bit of a break to Sainsbury or Cowtack, considering you're expecting them to be playing most of the season and most of the games this coming season. Give them a chance to rest and not overdo them too early. Do you reckon there's any chance of this happening?
If anything, I think it'd be Sainsbury coming off, as he hasn't had that full preseason so far. He's definitely would be behind the others, so surprised even if you can get a good 90 out of him, but he looks good so far. But yeah, he'd be the player coming off, and I think it would be Paul coming on, as he's been around the squad for a bit longer, and looks to have been trusted.
I think Sainsbury will be less of a concern especially if the Mariners try to hold on to the league lead late on. If they maybe add an extra centre back in, I don't see the point in taking off Sainsbury. Not with his experience anyway. That wouldn't make sense to me. Unless he's really unfit and you have to take him off, then
you take Moragas off and just keep Docker forward and put Paul out on the left as well.
Could do, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like a case of, I think, if it is the Mariners are a goal up or whatever with a few minutes left, you can just
then you can do it.
Well, but you can sit in a low block, and then Sainsbury doesn't have to risk, the movement and things. So
speaking of Sainsbury, Paul pass.
Sainsbury though.
Take him off. On.
Oh no.
Half a good recovery.
Was that a Rabona?
That was.
Rabona into the
off
post.
the post.
That's wild.
That's a tactic. What a tackle! What a
I would have left the live stream if that went in. I'm not even.
But he's come off the bench in immediate impact.
I heard the commentator say it, and I got pretty scared.
That's the best evidence you can get to take Sainsbury off. Looks tired. Just almost gave away a goal.
It was a sloppy pass, wasn't it? The pass was never on either, because Docker was just going to end up closed down by the left midfielder for Shandong anyway. So
Docker down cramping as well. I'd honestly be surprised if Jackson didn't go straight to the bench and centre back after.
That's crazy to attempt that.
Oh, my
And it was
God,
the right
it's
move
inches
as well,
away.
like-
It was the right one.
It really was.
But that's just a dynamic little movement from him that we've not seen from the Mariners. I was talking about how static the front line has been. It's just something like that can open the game up a little bit.
Yeah.
Moving between players and
Yep.
a snapshot.
God, that would have been amazing.
Didn't even look frustrated. He looks like he's expecting to score.
Yeah.
Ominous.
Imagine being that good. Like, imagine being able to just hit that and just expect it to go in.
Let me have a look at this fella. I'm pulling up his Sofa score.
Mikael Docker's having a few words with him.
I'm sure he's a popular guy.
Probably saying, I've already scored, mate. What are you on about? Not scored yet, mate.
You haven't shushed the crowd, have you, mate?
Yeah.
9 goals in 17 starts. A red
Yo-
card recently.
Yokohama 6-2 down.
What is going on in that game?
Wow. Who were they up against again?
Gwangju from Korea.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Away from home in Gwangju.
Gwangju. Is that Popovich's club?
Well,
Gwangju?
Might
I
be.
know I heard he
I
could be
think
going
so.
on loan to Sydney. so-
Sydney,
Yeah.
which I am incredibly frustrated with. That's
When aren't you frustrated,
No
Jacob?
loyalty.
just.
I mean, Sydney need a centre backs as well. You're fighting over with.
But this is what I'm like. This is the thing. Like a player that was literally on our books
Yeah.
last season, is clearly interested in coming back to the league, and it's not to Adelaide. Like it's just what is going on at the club? Like why can we not get these players back? I guess money's maybe a thing, but who are they spending the money on?
Prestige, Jacob. That's the issue.
It's prestige. I can't be angry at Popovich. Like he's, I'm angry at the club. Shouldn't have let him go in the first place, to be honest.
All right, we're into the 70th minute now. So not a whole lot left. Shandong really haven't had any great chances apart from that little Rabona there, which was a poor giveaway from Sainsbury. But Mariners, probably no golden chances either.
Fourth official there, just shouting foul, foul, foul.
The second half's gone so quick, though.
It has. It's flying through.
I want Docker to score a winner and shush the crowd again.
Docker just went off.
I don't. Yeah, I don't think that's going to be happening.
Oh, sorry. I've been staring at my phone for too long.
Good job, Lockie.
Yeah, so Rue's on, so Moragas probably stays
Okay,
a bit further forward now.
Storm route, edit the lineup. There we go. Didn't miss a trick.
Seamless.
Seamless transition. Oh yeah, Storm Roo is out there.
Yeah.
All right, 20 minutes for the Mariners to steal a winner. Are they going to do it?
They've not
I
looked
don't-
great this second half.
Yeah, I don't see it.
Oh, that's slow.
It is, isn't it?
Oh, they recovered okay.
It's like Mariners haven't quite come out, and they're still playing the way they were in the first half
touch.
when Shandong was sitting back.
Oh, ball.
Nice ball.
Oh, ball. I'm a little bit behind.
Sorry,
No. You're allowed. I feel like if you get the lottery, the luck of the lottery to get the early stream,
Yeah.
you're within your rights.
yeah, I don't know how it feels though. Like soccer is that killed me. I barely said a word second half, especially.
Talking about Popovich not going to Adelaide, Paletti says they're spending the money on 4-year deals for Ben Falami.
Yeah. I thought 3 years was enough, but there you go. 4 years.
Oh, the offside trap. Oh, jeez. They messed that up with 0 defenders around.
What happened there?
He might have been offside anyway, but it's not a great look.
Oh, they were all on.
Oh, they were.
They were.
Oh,
They were
one
kept
defender
on.
just didn't do the offside trap.
Can't take the touch.
Touch. Touch of a donkey.
That's a massive opportunity. That doesn't appear that way. because
Three-
it was
three on
spotted so
zero.
easily.
he had all the time in the world to do
You just
anything.
expect it. Yeah, like I don't know.
I think
Can you
he
imagine
thought there was going to be more pressure than there was. So he
Yeah.
sort of rushed it, and then
It was
the poor
awkward,
touch.
but like you're 3 or none.
Well, he could have just taken half a step and just chested it down. Like it was.
Let's also spare a moment for the poor Shandong defender that's going to get absolutely roasted in the debrief on tomorrow morning. So, guys, we're going to go out in the second half. The first direct free kick, we're going to do the offside trap.
Yeah, sure. Runs
thing,
the other
boss.
way.
Yikes.
Also, Edmondson off for Brentman as well.
There you go.
True, okay.
Just looking around for who came off.
I've just been waiting for my foot mob to update. It's taken a while.
Wow,
I
it's
think a lot
that
of-
from Caltac. They're on here. They're on here. 2-1. Goal.
Oh,
it is.
Caltech's giving it away. Keeper probably can do better.
That is just stupid.
Low down to his left.
That is really...
Went through him.
And you can see the tiring leg. Sainsbury pulled past 5 minutes ago. Here again.
That's really disappointing because they haven't really given Shandong much of a sniff in the second half.
But on the contrary, Mariners haven't offered anything really. It's been the complete opposite to the first half, where you could say the Mariners deserved, at least a draw. Shandong have done more than
It's
enough
just a
to.
tired pass. It was never
So
even on.
lazy. Just went straight through him as well. Pavlicic, I'm not.
Did he do the shush celebration? No.
No, but he did run over to a
Who'd be
cameraman.
shushing?
So
It moved, but
Yeah. Where's the cameraman?
It has a little bit of a knuckle on
those
it.
I know how like you get a Yorker like that, they suck, but
Goalkeeper's opinion.
it looks like it just gets you. It looks like it's going just to your right, cuts left.
well, and there was a bit of a dip on it as well, right at
Yeah.
the last minute
And
to
then-
get under him.
They look worse than they are. They're tough, those ones, but still. Vuka
Well,
would have
I mean,
caught that. Vuka would have chested that down.
Izzo was caught out by one of those in the original rivalry last year with that Kunda hit from
Yeah,
about
Where
30
I
yards.
critiqued that.
Yeah.
But it's how you hit. They're good hits as well.
These are the stages for Australian clubs where we just falter in these last 20 minutes and we can't. Something always wrong happens. It's so frustrating where we just cannot hold on to, at least the point.
There is
It's so
absolutely a
frustrating.
pre-season fitness element to that.
Yes.
Though.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm not using that as an excuse in terms of generally. I'm
Christian
talking
holds
about
them to a higher standard.
No, I'm talking about generally. It always happens, whether they're in season or off season. So annoying. It's just
All right, well,
game.
work to
yeah.
do. Work to
There's
do
still
for the
plenty of
Mariners.
time though. There's still 15
Ain't
minutes to
over.
go at least.
Yeah.
So
You got to
It's
chase
just,
the game.
it's just
now,
the
though.
bench is thin. Like I'm not inspired.
Who
How many
haven't
subs
they
to the
brought?
Mariners?
So DePizio.
Oh yeah.
play it.
Is that it?
It's just silly
probably.
stuff here on the ball.
Let me get the bench up.
Obviously, no
I mean,
more Jing Reese gone to victory.
The Mariners are giving the ball away uncontested in a lot of areas here. There was one just there from, was it Morageous maybe, that just headed the ball straight to Shandong, completely unpressured. Like, got to be smarter.
Theo.
You get the feeling that if this same fixture was played in even like a month's time, maybe that goal doesn't happen there.
Yeah. Yeah, Caltech just laces it rather than tries to play a pass. He just boots it and gets it out of there. Because, I mean, there wasn't a pass on, at least not forwards for him, and he wasn't going to turn with the defender on his back to try and play it back to the keeper.
Well, here we go. They're on. Mariners
Going
are
goal.
on.
This is
The
Ngor
renewal.
It is.
winning that
Scored
1v1.
2-all.
Three.
There
They've
it
scored
is.
2-all.
Ah, cleared away well.
That's a good
Such an
clearance.
evil person, Christian. I'm actually ahead of you.
I can't tell if I know you said Ingles played well, Christian. I can't tell if is playing well or he's just been given a lot of good opportunities and maybe not done a whole lot with it.
To be
I
fair,
think
that
that
one
comes down to him as well to get that chance in the first place. He is there. He is pressing well, right from the get-go. I think he's been probably the most threatening in terms of the press. Looks like he's going to win the ball back almost every single time. And yeah, that final ball and that final product has been lacking a bit. I do agree there, but he's one of off the post.
Oh,
yeah.
keeper Kane
Sainsbury
didn't get
with
it.
as
Sainsbury had the
point-blank a
goal
header as you
wide
can.
open. Oh,
That-
can't equalise. That was exactly like
Damn.
Kovacic with the first goal. Came and didn't get it.
That's a Romero miss there. Romero had one of those in North London Derby last season. He missed.
Yeah. So you think N'Gork should be doing more lucky on the ball?
I think he's positioned himself well. He's won a couple of 1v1 duels to get himself into space. But whenever he's beaten that player, I think he's been a little bit clunky on the ball. Probably not just quite as fine-tuned as some of the other players on the park. That's all.
But the thing is that while yes, having sort of a lack in end product isn't great, beating your man is huge for a winner.
Oh yeah.
And it's a confidence thing as well. It's showing that he is confident in his own ability to be able to take on those matchups and win them. So yeah, look, final product is at least something that can be worked on, I guess.
But yeah, Theo Harris and DePizio, not in this squad, but in the Asian Cup, Asian Champions League squad, full squad. So they're definitely two players that you'd want to have on the bench right now. Like Theo Harris would be a perfect game for him to come on. I'd really love him late in these games, just to go 1-on-1, take on the wingers, and he has final product. So it's pretty short without them. The bench does not look too attacking at all.
Well, and was it DePizio with a couple of late goals last season as
Yeah.
well? So,
He was the master of it.
yeah.
10 minutes
Shandong
though.
with a drink that matches the colour of their shirt.
Oh, the goal is literally gaping.
That's a wide open header.
He can see it as well. Oh,
Really
that hurts.
celebrating.
that'll be disappointing for him when his first game back.
Mm-hmm.
He knows it. Look at him. He knows he should have scored.
So are the Mariners playing Japanese opposition in the
Yes.
phase? Are they playing Yokohama next?
I don't know
I
if
don't
it's
think next. I think it's Buriram at home next.
Because Yokohama just got a red card, so if that plays into effect.
Ooh.
Depends what the
No,
red card.
And they
Yokohama's a little
score-
later.
And they scored with 10 minutes, 6-3. It's insane.
Picked the wrong game.
John Hutchinson, what's going on?
Corner now. Chance to do something. Recreate that Sainsbury header at the back post.
Oh, it's going to be hard to recreate that. That was a golden chance begging.
Good throw. Good throw.
Here we go. Oh, Sainsbury, close.
Close again.
Oh,
Far out.
Not free tapping, but
Caltech at the far post.
back stick and just didn't expect it to come to him as well. That's
Gee,
frustrating. What a
that
throw.
offside, the incorrect offside trap, the Sainsbury header.
Send him off.
The Shandong player is just absolutely right.
Jacob, anything to say?
Assistant referee.
About.
Kicking the ball away.
To be fair, that one he was trying to keep it in.
Especially at the ref. Nah, it was already out when he did that.
I'll give him the benefit of the doubt with that one.
Nice, keep going. Yeah, I do really like Bremen in the... okay, yep, no. I won't finish that. Fine stuff.
She pushes the ball out of bounds. I get the feeling that the Mariners might have burnt their chances here.
Yeah.
All right, give us a profile, Will.
Is Deleem's coming? Yep. Dangerous winger. He will play, yeah. So he's bringing...
It's Fei Zhao.
Fei Zhao's off.
Yeah, but I want to see... He's also they're making shuffles. So I think somebody else will... I don't know, I need your live stream tactics board up. But no, yeah, like real tricky winger. good finishing from what I've seen. But obviously that's always.
Mariners have come alive since going a goal down.
Well, you'd hope so.
Well, I mean,
I don't think it's.
They could just.
I don't think it's a matter of.
Show.
Yeah, I don't think it was a matter of the Mariners, livening up after the goal. I think the Mariners chose to play that way in being a bit more conservative. I think if it was, if they were 1-0 down at halftime, it would have been different. But yeah, that goal before halftime really did change that halftime team talk, and you could tell Shandong were a completely different side in that second half.
They're but the thing is, it's like they're winning second balls now and stuff they weren't doing for most of the second half.
Yes,
it's like the effort's back into it now, especially in the midfield.
What do you think about that kind of thing, Will? It's probably more like
Dwight, nicely done.
Get the YouTube up. Yeah, so Delima is wide left. Bremen is actually up top alongside Quell in the, I want to say, Nisbet role.
The Nisbet role.
Well, it's just really two up top, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but definitely just most of the time has been midfielders as in the midfield.
We haven't really seen Mirages step inside like Docker did, though. I wonder how that will work.
Yes.
Oh, caught late. Counter.
Very late.
There's no advantage there.
It's interesting that Shandong have been able to progress the ball so smoothly when they've got a 4 at the back in possession. It's just not something you see anymore. Like, you usually are seeing your fullbacks getting involved in some way, but you can see. Look how deep the centre backs are getting.
Turnover, go!
Oh, here we go. Got to capitalise here.
Sub, far post and Gore, go! He's run himself out of room there.
He's done a Martinelli.
Still got heaps of space.
Turned around.
Yeah.
Just a little bit too slow.
Ball. Come on.
And that's probably a youngster not wanting to give the ball away, right?
Yeah, that's a bit of nerves there.
The Mariners are playing some good football. There's no end product here. That final ball is missing.
I think they're missing their confidence, like we saw them play with 100% last season.
Oh, what on Rue?
It looks like they had a lot of trust in it. And
Free kick.
Well, and that could partially be down to an early cup exit and perhaps not quite feeling like you've done what you should have done in the early stages there.
So it happens if you feel like you lose your couple of best players and like faces that you're used to seeing and that cohesion. You kind of just lose that little bit of... You don't back yourself as much.
Yeah, it can either be a big loss of confidence or it can be
what a save.
That's a fantastic save. It's that Quell with the header.
Yeah.
Top-notch save.
Good header, though. Good header from a standing kind of...
Yeah.
Got a lot of power behind it.
That's a difficult one to get power on.
Yeah, with...
Whip the neck through it.
There we go. Come on.
A ball whipped in like that with a lack of pace. That's good effort.
Mm-hmm.
That's a ball.
And
nice.
again,
Back
Sainsbury.
close.
Sainsbury's always thereabouts and just can't
Oh.
get an end of it. Oh, no.
Oh, they're out.
Lovely.
Oh, he's swept.
Well defended.
Referee, thank you.
Yeah.
Very good there.
Really well done. That was Mirages, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, off-season signing over the F3 from the Jets.
Just take their best players every year. Thank you.
Slotted in very nicely.
Yeah, the best on the park by miles in the game against Heidelberg. So I think we know what we're getting with him. So that's a very good signing. Just need to see him add some dark arts to his game to replace Farrell.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. Lazy there.
What do the Mariners need to do, Will, these last 5-10 minutes?
Oh,
Score.
Playing with confidence at the back. Scoring would be lovely. Scoring would be really, really good.
That's
No,
a poor
Just
pass.
Run into the space.
that's on, I think.
That's onside.
That's onside,
That's
yeah.
They're gonna sweat it. He's gonna sweat. Oh, he's not. He's gonna dink it over.
it.
That is a beautiful
3-1.
finish.
So Christian, probably not do that would be on my right.
So Will, what do the Mariners need to do to win this
Score
game?
2 now, score 3 even if possible.
And
No, I
there's-
like it's fun. The couple chances we had, we did create. I think if
Yeah, you missed the chance.
one of those
Yeah.
go in, you just
But that there as well is the disadvantage to having really aggressive fullbacks because Murray just is nowhere near that and it's left completely open on the switch. Look at
open in the
the
midfield as
space.
well.
Look
Yeah.
at that space.
But
Caltech was sleeping though.
Caltech was caught out as well, but
Nah, but Caltech has
you
two
can't-
men
you
to
can't-
be able to watch
yeah.
there. Like he can't do
and he
both.
has to be sitting deeper as well and keeping them on side.
It's a midfield issue as well. There's just no pressure on the ball at all. He's got 5 meters of space. There was 3 Mariners players all on top of each other behind the ball. Like
I know it's not Caltech's man, but he's still got to look behind him and see what's there. I know it's difficult, but
I think that's
But he's not gonna get across to it. He's not gonna. Like,
I know,
there's
but still
not
be
he can
aware.
do.
At least if you see a player behind, just push up just a tad.
you got to. I mean, but with a goal down and you. I don't 3-1, 2-1 doesn't matter. Like
Exactly. So
no
why
one
is he
will be
so?
playing
So
this
why
way.
is he so deep then? If
Caltech?
Yeah,
Yeah, but
Because
I'm
that's
just
the
saying about
adjustment that
Moraga's being
Jackson
not.
had made. Like that's
I know, but you're a goal down with 5 minutes to go. If you're going to go all out attack anyway and not track numbers back with the fullbacks, especially, then
You got to set your line somewhere.
yeah. Need a bit of Ange ball for Christian reckons and just throw your defenders as far forwards as you can.
go
Well,
ball.
they're going to have to get anything out of this game now.
Yeah.
Goals in.
if we're to salvage our coefficient hopes,
Yeah, this will not do well for the coefficient.
Like,
Or
that
lost to
was-
Chinese opposition.
That was actually good from Ngor there. It was just blocked. Like that was
Yeah.
the right ball to put in, try and get it low across the
lovely.
face of goal. It was just defended well.
That was nice passage. Like the passages I'm saying are good, and
You got to remember as well that the advantage that
Again.
these like Chinese and Japanese teams have
Same
in
space,
season.
same space being exploited
but
again.
that's going to be part of it. That's him
Yeah.
backing it. That's
oh
yeah.
wow, off the
Jeez,
post.
strike the post again. That was
Like, I
only
don't-
half of my point, but like the Chinese teams, they're going to finish in like a month and a half, right?
Yeah.
So the back end of the league, like this league phase goes over Christmas. The final
God.
2 games are in like February or whatever. Like they're going to be out of season, so it's going to go, both ways.
flip back the other way. I don't think. It's you don't want to be playing Chinese teams now, but you have to say we've been in the game.
Oh yeah,
This is the
It's a
same.
nice hit again.
Just to be that guy, but this is the same defensive issues that Adelaide have had with their fullbacks being so aggressive.
I don't think that's like. It's just the game state, right? Like you're chasing.
Yeah,
I don't think
I
it's.
agree.
I back it that we're staying
But
like that.
yes, but it was also the issue in the early part of the game as well.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Jamie
it's
them count.
yeah. Those opening 5-10 minutes was
Yeah.
very similar of them finding a lot of space there.
Yeah, but
Whereas-
it's like, what do you want? Maragas is the one that got the
Oh,
chance.
nice football.
That's some
that
fantastic
deserved the
football.
goal.
done really well.
He's the one that got
Oh.
the chance there. So
Yeah. Will, do you want to put a jumper on, mate?
I back it. Just
You know
like
what's made this
Jackson.
game exciting as well is that it's 2 really high quality teams
Yeah.
who have tactical ways about them, and like those pros and cons of those tactical outfits are actually being weighed up against each other.
Yeah.
And both teams have had moments, and it's just been Shandong that have taken those moments. That's what a really high level game of football looks like, and that's what we hope we get out of the Champions League.
Yeah, it's like I'm not even that mad because we're playing well, sticking to our principles there, and no, it's not it's frustrating, but it's still really good signs for the future. Imagine this against Adelaide, Jacob. Oh, God, that's be 11 up.
Our centre back pairing of Isaias and Ryan Tunnicliffe. is
I
gonna-
cannot wait.
Getting it
No, I
torn
can't.
apart.
That's
I
a
can't
poor
talk that
free
much.
kick to give. Well, it looks like
Signs
the
there,
race
and
is
plenty
just about
games in the Champions League. You don't need much.
Well, I mean, it bodes well for the Mariners, like moving forwards, that against tough opposition, you've got these passages of play that look really, really dynamic and fluid, and are creating these opportunities.
And we said right from the start, at home, that's where the Mariners really got to capitalise and get those, at least get a couple of wins on the board. Who have they got next? Is it a home game, I'm assuming?
Yeah, it's home against Buriram, I'm pretty sure. It's the Thai team.
Okay.
Yeah, so I didn't go into this game expecting too much, and it's just the fact that it was within the grasp for a bit there has made it more frustrating. But it's definitely not expected a win here.
Well defended.
But taking a point away from home off season, that would have been such a coup for you guys. But I mean, like you said, you guys have been playing well. You can definitely see the identity in what you guys want to do, but it's just those sort of lapses in concentration, those few sloppy passes out from the back. They're all avoidable things that all add up in the end, and you can't afford that at this level.
But that's the stuff that will get will happen less and less, and stark difference between this and Heidelberg. So no, I'm a lot more optimistic after this game than I was. McCalmont hasn't really had much as the impact that I did see him have previously as well. He was running the show a lot of the time.
That's not even a bad pass. That's just, again, that's one of those things where in pre-season you're not going to be on the same wavelength, and you're going to make a slightly different run to what the midfielder's expecting. Like there's really good signs for the Mariners. It's just about tidying it up, cleaning it up, but that'll happen as more and more minutes are played.
Yeah.
Well, at least the Mariners didn't lose 7-3.
7-3. Yeah. What a game.
Yeah, why didn't we watch that game?
Yeah.
I know. We should have the multiple screens going for the live streams next time.
You know what I'll do? For the next game where it's relevant, I'll make sure we can get like an around the ground score ticker up on the screen.
Yeah,
so we can keep
that'd be good.
We'll have like a goal frenzy thing.
Goal rush.
Yeah, goal rush.
Yeah, goal rush.
All right, the final whistle is gone. It's Shandong Taishan 3, Central Coast Mariners 1. It's defeats for the club that won the treble last year in the A-League and the AFC Cup. But yeah, as we've been saying, I wouldn't say it's too much of a disappointing start. They've gone away. It is still pre-season. We know how hard travelling in Asia is as well.
Yeah.
They played, their way. That we saw a little bit of a switch up, but they looked organised. We got the lucky penalty, but they had their chances and they just didn't take them. Will, I'm sure you'll be disappointed not to get anything out of this game, but I think you can agree that it's positive signs.
Yeah, just as I said, just the fact that it was close and it did look like we could snag it there for a fair bit, but yeah, not the way it was meant to be, but definitely promising signs. And yeah, as I said, I'm a lot more optimistic than I was. I think that Heidelberg game really dampened the spirits pre-season. I fancied a little cup run and a few away games and a bit of travel pre-season would have been nice, but no, very good. And I just want to say, how good that Asian AFC Cup Champions badge looks on the kit as well.
It does look good.
That's all that matters. Do like these new away kits? Sorry.
Yeah, no, they're very good. They'll have to find a shirt sponsor for them though.
Air Asia. What happened to Air Asia last season?
Yeah, Jacob, you're our COP chief. No, I don't mean that. I mean CPO, Chief Pessimism Officer. Do you share Will's optimism at the Mariners?
I do. I think that. Going forwards, dynamic, effective, just perhaps not on the same wavelength because they're still in pre-season. So I think there's definitely good signs there for the Mariners. And I think that the defensive issues that they did have with that space, with the fullbacks being so aggressive, look, it's something that, is going to be inherent in having attacking fullbacks, like you mentioned, Will, but it's also something that you've got to make sure that your midfield. That's the problem. Was the midfielders weren't covering that space, so you've got to make sure that the midfielders know when the fullbacks are pushing up and playing more aggressive, so that they can slide across and help track the runner or cover the space a little bit more, which just wasn't happening in this game, and that's why it required Kautak to drop into that anchor role in the first half and sit a bit deeper, was to try and sweep up behind. But then as you're chasing the game, things start to move up the pitch a bit more and the space opens up again. So look, that's a little bit of a worry, but I'm sure that it's something that's easily addressable, right? It's not like it's an inherent fault in the pressing structure or the marking system that's used. It's just a case of positional awareness that I think needs to be instilled in the midfielders a little bit more. But otherwise, I'm with Will in that it did actually look quite good for the Mariners, and decent first half, controlled the game, controlled the tempo, created the best of the chances, just sort of, tired legs or maybe not quite got that match fitness in the second half, and Shandong were able to take the 3 points. But I don't think that it's an indictment on the way that the Mariners played or their hopes for this tournament.
Just to tack on as well, I think it's a different game if you have Theo Harris off the bench and DePizio.
Yeah.
I think the game management with Jackson is really good at it and did swap systems. We saw, Moragas go up a bit more.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't that possible without a bunch of the names there, and the attacking options still look pretty thin there. So it's hard to manage that game like he would have wanted to. It didn't look. It looked like he was restricted by that bench.
Well, but even with those restrictions, still able to create those chances.
Yeah.
Deep into the game where Sainsbury should be scoring that one. I mean, that's bread and butter for a big centre back like him. So, Mariners score that, it's 2-2. We're having a different discussion about things potentially in going, actually that was really, really, really good from the Mariners and able to fight back and get that result. But I think that it's still good signs for the side despite the loss, because there wasn't anything that stuck out as being abysmal.
Christian, what do you reckon? Like, the Mariners had these chances. It was Brian Kaltak who should have done better when Shandong butchered that offside trap. You got the Sainsbury header. He almost had another swipe at it when the ball fell into his feet in the box as well. The Mariners definitely had their chances.
To be honest, I think it was just a game of moments. And, Shandong, they had that period, that 15 to 20 minutes of domination in that second half. And once that pressure told, after Shandong found that goal from, you have to say, pretty lackluster piece of defending from the Mariners. And we saw a couple of those moments during the game, from the back line. I think it was always going to be very hard. But the positive is the Mariners' adaptability, I thought, was really impressive for me. They started out with the three at the back, Sainsbury, Kaltak, and off the top of my head, I'm McCalmont as well with the back three. And then obviously going back to the 4-4-2 formation without the ball. So I think there were positive signs away from home to take chances that, could have gone either way. Some could have converted from set pieces. Like they had, 10 to 15 corners in the match. So it's not like they weren't creating opportunities. It's just that, those split-second decisions that really cost them in the end, I think. And, I mean, I don't think they should be too down on themselves, having, 4 games at home now to try and rectify this result. They only need 2 to 3 wins to progress, so it's not all doom and gloom. But at the same time, a point in this match here would have been, it's not trying to state the obvious, but a really good platform, I guess, for them going forward, because for them it is a new competition. Champions League Elite, playing against some of the top sides in Asia, but at the same time to get this experience padded down, it's for this group of young players, and mixed in with a bit of experience as well, but a young coach as well in Mark Jackson, who is still getting to familiarize himself in this sort of environment. I think will only do the club a world of good moving forward. So I still expect them to progress out of the group or the group phase.
The league phase.
League phase. I've got to get my head around that. But, no, I think they'll be fine there. Just there's little adjustments and tweaks that they've got to improve on. But, once the season rolls around, I think that's when the Mariners will be primed to, string a couple of good performances and hopefully some wins together to hopefully go through to the knockout stages.
Yeah, so they got one more game against Birmingham at home before the A-League season kicks underway. So that's, I believe, in 2 weeks' time. So they've got that one. As you say, with this league phase, 12 teams, 8 go through. So it's probably, if I had to guess, that 8 to 10 point range that you're targeting. But of course, the better you do, the better seeded you are for the next round. So you want to get as high up as you can, give yourself a chance in that 2-legged tie at the round of 16. And then if you win that, you're off to Saudi Arabia for the final 8. So it's a format that allows you to have slip-ups. It's not that punishing in that respect in this league phase. So I think you can be happy with the performance here as a Mariners fan and still be disappointed by not getting anything out of it. But no, that's not the end of the world as well. So exciting times. First match day underway. We've got Sydney FC on Thursday as well. And then more Australia Cup, Champions League, A-League gets underway. It's an exciting time to be an Australian football fan. This little September period, it's all coming back around again. But that'll do for us tonight. Thank you all very much to everyone else who watched on the stream. and watching back on YouTube. We do appreciate your company. If you want to hear more from us, check out the podcast Roundball Australia, wherever you get your podcasts. We'll have another episode of that out on Friday, talking about this game and the Sydney FC in the Asian Champions League 2 in a little bit more detail. But that will